I've got blue souls, cause I'm way gone, trying to find my way back home. Count my bones as in desert crumbs blown. I'm gonna turn all of my stones.
Rock bottom make a man and some pressure make a gemstone. Try to put $1 to my name like Creflo. Niger boy, late to the game, it's in the blood flow. And I'm from the south, it's thick skin and tough bone. Big attitude through big lips with gusto. Trust no kings, that's why they tried to crush souls. But it's IGBO, when the dust blow, this old head be standing there. No silver, just gold. Crack no books on the hustle, I was born to grind. Yo, I'm scared of your potential, I'm adorned with mine. 30 times around the sun, man, of course I shine. My legacy will not dwarf with time. And in my daughter's eyes, it's basic, I must not say quit. Every day sees a present like a Rob St. Nick. Walk a fine line between tenacious and patient. I can't slip, I'm fighting clocks and they can't win.
I've got bruised souls, cause I'm way gone, trying to find my way back home. Count my wounds as in desert crumbs flow. I'm gonna turn all of my stones. I've got bruised souls, cause I'm way gone, trying to find my way back home. Who that soldier in the mirror? Oh, oh. I'm gonna turn all of my stones.
Impeccably I flow, hardest raps you know, breaking status quo, reaping what I sow, artistry like Van Gogh. Get it from my mama hip, so thick that I need tempo. Personality, spicy body banging like a bongo. Cause black women been it since Timbuktu since Pharaoh. Sponge rollers and hot combs, lips, cheeks and brow bones. If you ain't for the culture, then please stay out of my zone. These little dummy rappers could never grace my headphones. See, I'm from a place in space where ain't no storytelling, you just had to have been there. If you want the battle, ain't no problem, say where. I got so much experience, I can't even play fair. But I'ma keep evolving and growing and hurting feelings and showing. You need endurance to go in, I got mileage on this pen. I've been busy cause I've been out here schooling all these kids. Took 3 decades to have this glow up that I did.
I've got bruised souls, cause I'm way gone, trying to find my way back home. Count my bones as in desert crumbs flow. I'm gonna turn all of my stones. I've got bruised souls, cause I'm way gone, trying to find my way back home. Who that soldier in the mirror? Oh, oh. I'm gonna turn all of my stones. Turn all of my
to see if he was barefoot. Is that still the case? Is he barefoot? Because I know on Facebook somebody posted a picture of these could be his shoes, or is that so he is presumed to be barefoot at this point?
What I can say is that his mom says all of his shoes are accounted for at the house. I'm not going to say that he's barefoot.
All right.
Allegedly!
Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. This is Lady Freedom here coming at you with another raw narrative. Here's a brief disclaimer for tonight's show. Let's watch.
That's ignorant! Allegedly, that's ignorant! Ignorant.
Judgment, Alston.
Boy, you read my thoughts. You've got the shinin.
You mean shining?
Shh! You wanna get sued?
Judgment, Alston.
You just use that shin of yours to call me and I'll come a running. But don't be reading my mind between 4 and 5. That's Willie time.
Hey, yo, boss. I love it when he does that.
Let's watch.
Don't get me back to good bullshit.
Everyone and welcome back to my channel. This is Lady Freedom here coming at you with another raw narrative, and it's so good to see all of you guys today. Thank you very much for being here. I just want to do a quick shout out since we don't have a whole lot of people in the chat today, and I do appreciate everybody coming in. I understand there's others that are live, and I really just wanted to come on and talk about true crime, right? Because that's what I enjoy and that's what our channel is about. So I figured we would just do a date court. I want to do a couple more of those before the end of the month. I'm trying to kind of squeeze them in because I'm going to the Gathering of Voices, and I hope that everyone can make it. So I will put that up really, really quick. I should have had it already up, but I was dealing with something before my live. Um, that I had to make sure everybody in the Discord knew about. So, just bear with me here 1 second. Oh gosh, I still have the video from last night. And I saw, Krista, your comment. You said that you didn't know about any of this until just now. And, I think people were really shied away from talking about it for the longest time because Chris Proudfoot had come out and, made the threats. And, people were saying that it wasn't right to talk about Katie's situation, which I mean, I completely understand that. And, it's kind of to each his own on that. Um, Really, it's one of those things where I think that sometimes we just have to talk about things, even if we are uncomfortable or if it makes us uncomfortable. Obviously, that subject is never going to make anybody comfortable. If it does, then we need somebody to get their head checked, because nobody should ever be happy about something like that, even if it happens to somebody that you don't like. There's a lot of bullying going on these streets. And like I said last night, it is cutthroat. Cutthroat. People are nasty ass little honey badgers on here. They just don't give a shit. Chuchi, good to see you. And you do have to protect yourself. So I would urge people to do that and really just be careful out there. It's crazy. And even though it is day court, we are 21 and over only, because I know there's been some young people floating around. I've heard through the grapevine. And when we do our videos, we have the option of putting them up for kids or for adults. Well, actually, it just says kids or yes or no. And mine is always no kids, because we talk about really sensitive subjects in here. And true crime, obviously, it can be horrific. And that's why with our trivia, I did choose questions from horror movies instead of doing a true crime trivia. I don't know. I just find it somewhat disrespectful to the victims. I don't know if that's, what everybody else thinks. But I thought about it a little bit and I'm like, I would rather kind of maybe do some fun trivia. And a lot of us that grew up in the 80s and 90s, there was like a lot of like fun kind of cult classic horror movies. And so I just kind of selected some movies that I thought people would, I don't want to make questions so hard that you guys are frustrated in the chat and, it's a pain in the butt. I want to make them so I think that people will get them fairly quickly, but not too quickly, if that makes sense. So I'm working on that. You guys are going to love it. I was laughing just making it. I have a good time making content for you guys. You have no idea how much joy it brings me. It's a lot with self-expression, but it's also trying to express the victims as well as I can, and the situation as well as I can, or just through my artistic lens. And I absolutely enjoy it. It's something that has really been fulfilling. And I thought that, I would do real estate for the rest of my life. And now I'm doing true crime. And it's the only thing that I ever want to do, whether it's going to be on YouTube, whether we'll do Rumble or Patreon or anything that we're adding on this year. I think that it is just something that has really been a calling, because I just enjoy it so much. And there's nothing else that I'd rather do. I also have had the pleasure of meeting some of the most psychotic people and some of the best people I've ever met. So I think you have to take the good with the bad. But I had a blast making it. It's not done yet. As soon as it is, I'm going to send it over. But I did set the live up. So we're going to do it on the 30th, which is Saturday. Was it Saturday or Sunday? This is what happens when you don't sleep. All right, hold on. Give me 1 second here. There's my calendar. Okay, so yeah, it's Saturday. All right, great. I just wanted to make sure I'm giving you guys the right day. So Saturday we're gonna do that at 2:30, and that's Eastern time. So if you have a membership, you can have access to this trivia. And it's gonna be, like I said, really fun. It's just gonna be relaxed. We're gonna do some office trivia. We are doing some horror movie trivia. We're doing some Stranger Things trivia. And we're also going to be doing some music trivia. So I know that Stranger Things is kind of like a niche or a nerd thing. I'm a nerd. And so I thoroughly enjoy that show. If you guys, wanted to kind of brush up on some facts, you could probably like Google and get to know Stranger Things, in a nutshell. So at least you won't feel like that's a category that's completely lost or something like that. But I just thought it would be great, especially because we are a true crime channel. That show is based on Dungeons and Dragons, D&D. And so I wanted to put that in there, right? Because that's something that Sebastian enjoys. And I don't know that many people know that, because we've always been hammered away with, oh, he could beat adults at chess. He could just beat an adult, And Seth has told us that Sebastian is very much into games of strategy, social games of strategy, not just playing chess by himself, right? So I think that's important to remember. And the Gathering of Voices is going to be, the main event will be February 26, 2026. Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers has been missing for 2 years. It's important to come together at the Sumner County Sheriff's Office. We're also planning on doing some other little, walks in order to let Sebastian know that he is loved, cared about, and that he's wanted. His father's looking for him. There's nothing more that Seth would like for his son to call him. The very first interview that I remember hearing of Seth, it was him over the phone with the local news, and he was like, I just want my son to come home. I want him to call me, right? If you're out there, please call me, and it's heartbreaking. And that was 2 years ago. So on February 26, 2024, Sebastian was reported missing. 2 years later, our voices join together in remembrance, in love, and in hope. And we invite the community together in solidarity to honor Sebastian and continue shining light on his story. Please bring something green, Sebastian's favorite color, as a tribute, and we will be gathering September 23rd through February 27th. Right now, for updates, you can go to facebook.com/groups/Justice for Sebastian. Together, our voices are stronger. Together, we remember. And so we need to come together and remember Sebastian if you can make it. Now, if you cannot make it and you would like to still get a message to Sebastian on that day, something that we're remembering or saying, or something, nice for Seth, right? Like, we hope you find your son, something like that. I don't know. It's all up to you guys, but it's really about Sebastian, right? But the fact of the matter is, and it's not a happy fact, but his father is missing him terribly, right? So we stand with people when they need support. But you still can send me a message through my email, and I'm going to be checking all of those and gathering them all up. So just send it with the subject line saying, message for Sebastian, right? Or message for Gathering of Voices. But put it in the subject line because I don't want it to get lost, right? And then I'm going to go ahead and type them up and verify them, right? I'll probably cut and paste them, but I will verify them with everybody. And I'll put that on the community page. Now, people need to be watching my community page for this because I don't want people to be upset that they weren't able to do it because they missed it, you know? Also, I think that Sebastian deserves every bit of love and support that you all have to offer him because I know that you all have the biggest hearts. So please make sure that you're checking that community wall, and I'm going to put all of them in there. If you do not see your message, then you can add it to the comments, guys. We have to stay organized with this, though, because I don't have a lot of time between my trip and now, and I'm having to leave earlier than expected for this. So just please be mindful of that. Please be mindful that I'm only one person, right? And I'm traveling by myself for almost 20 hours, right? Just there goes Lady Freedom by herself. And I'm going to be doing that, and I'm happy to do it. But I want you guys to understand that, you know, the last time I went, it was so busy and hectic, right? And I have to try to, you know, get at least 2 shows in, and I've been trying to do as many shows as I can, you know, in order to make sure that, you know, everything will be set to go. So, you know, just keep that in mind. You know, don't send me a nasty email or get hateful. This is about love. This is about love. And one of my favorite bands of all time, I don't know if you guys know this, but I love the Beatles. I love them. I love the Beatles. All right, that's a horrible accent. I love them. All you need is love. All we need is love. Love. That's all we need, right? Because love conquers everything. So let's be loving to each other. Let's care about each other more. Let's look at things from other people's perspectives, in other people's shoes. It really goes a long way. Hello, little Miss Sharon. Good to see you. Right? When we're trying to identify why somebody is hurting us or doing something horrible, you know, it helps to put ourselves in their shoes. It really does. As weird as it sounds, and maybe you guys, because I hear it all the time, you're too nice, you're too, you know, I'm really not too nice. I'm really not too nice. I give until you show me that you don't deserve it. And then I take away and I will never give again. So that's me. But I am very loving and caring of a person. And some people look at that like I could be exploited for that, right? Me, I think it's my superpower. And Krista, thank you so much for being here. It's a lot to unpack, Krista, and that's only a small part of the families, right? And the families' involvement in criminal activity. It's wild. It's wild. But we're going to keep getting into it because, you know, it is a subject that I feel like people have been shied away from. And even though it is a sensitive subject that I will try to be as respectful as I possibly can with, no subject is off limits. You know, we have that right to speak on subjects. And I really think it's about the execution and how we do that, that can, you know, maybe change the outcome, right? Because if I came up here and I was rude and hateful about it, then it would, you know, it wouldn't go over as well as maybe being sensitive and, you know, real, authentic. So, Linda Hull, it's so good to see you. Howdy, Lady Freedom mods and everyone coming in the chat. I'm so blessed to be a part of this outstanding group. Oh, Linda, that's so sweet. And thank you so much for being here. Hey, I just have to say, for that one, birds of a feather, right? We all flocked together. I remember in the beginning, I had, Queen Bee was calling me like Lady Firebird and Lady Freebird. And I'm like, well, that's not so bad. You know, and I was like, you know, I was expecting worse, you know, so I'm glad that didn't happen, but it was kind of funny to me, and we were kind of calling ourselves the free birds. And I thought, well, should we call ourselves the Firebirds? And then I'm like, well, no, that's a car. And, so, um, but I thought it was funny whenever Jen and Canine Jules were doing their reading with the cards and stuff. They gave me the Phoenix card, or that one came up, and I thought that was really cool. So I don't know, who knows. And then I was like, is a dragon a bird? But then Seth teases me because he said, that's my dragons. Those are my dragons. But I love it for Sebastian. And I always want to represent Sebastian. I just wish that we could find him, I wish that at the very last minute we would get really good news. I don't even care if I was 5 minutes away in Tennessee. I would stick around, right? I'd be like, okay, time to party, right? Time to let Seth heal and Sebastian heal, and let's party. But gosh, I don't know. I can't have too high of hopes with that. We'll always keep the faith. Mama, so good to see you. Thank you so much for being here. I wish that we would all stick together a lot more, like the other channels do, right? When you have like that Krama community, they're pretty close knit, and I wish that we had that over here. And it just appears that that's not going to happen, which is fine. That's totally fine. But I am looking for my tribe on these YouTube streets. And you have to be very careful with who you associate on these streets. I'm learning that too. Stephanie Williams, it's so good to see you. Thank you for being here. And Sasha is here as well. Oh, that's a good idea, Sasha. Listening back to Seth's interviews. I've done that as well. Well, mainly I was listening to Seth, right? Listening to what he was saying. I think it's interesting that Seth wants us all to examine what he's saying, and he doesn't mind if, we're talking about it. Sasha says, I'm still listening to all of Seth's interviews and trying to find out who owns the storage units and across from the Worshams at the time Sebastian went missing. I think you could probably just look that up, hon. I don't know that Seth has ever talked about it, has he? And then also, the storage units, I'm trying to think of the name of them off the top of my head. I was going to say, you could probably just figure out. And then also the county assessor's office is how you find out who owns the house. If you're wanting to sleuth on your own independently. I'm not looking to do that. I'm not there with you, Sasha, but I appreciate your tenacity. I really do. So hey, Holly S, good to see you. Witchy Mama is here. Thank you for being here, Witchy Mama. Peace, love, and Jeeps. Hello. And Valley Gal, good to see you. I saw your guys' messages in our lunch lady chat. Our lunch lady chat. You guys are amazing women. I will tell you what, whenever I think in Tennessee, I think of my amazing lunch ladies. Which I know that sounds funny. It's just a bunch of us that went out for lunch when I was there, and I don't know what to call us, the Dragon Lady Lunch Bunch. So, oh my gosh, was it a blast though. I wish that I would have met you under better circumstances, but I see what you guys are doing, and I'm just so happy to have met you and to have, just been able to be a part of what you guys are doing there. It makes me feel like, I'm there too. And that's what I want you guys to feel like when we do the Gathering of Voices. I want you guys to feel like you're involved, especially people who can't make it out of the house, right? Like some of us, there was a time in the beginning when I first started my YouTube channel that I could have never afforded to go and do anything like that on a road trip like that, right? Because I was dedicating all of my time and energy into building a community and to building a brand. I don't know if you want to call it a brand, but a channel. And I I'm just so grateful. I wrote that on Silver's post because I saw that someone had said something about Silver's video, and I did go watch it and liked it and all of that. And Kid Rock is funny. I just when I see Kid Rock, I just laugh at him. Is that normal? I don't know. Do you guys laugh at Kid Rock? Because I think he's funny. Like he's just like I don't I don't know. He's a nut, but in a good way. He's not a nutty buddy fruitcake. He's just a nut. Um, but yeah, I just laugh at Kid Rock. I'm like, he's funny. Um, Yay, Miss Holly. I'm so glad the sun finally came out. Oh my gosh, you guys have had some dreary weather. I love this too. When she said, when she said hit it, bump it, kiss it, thump it, bop it, dance on it. If you like it, please hit that thumbs up on your way in. Aw, thank you. That's so cute, Witchy. I've never heard that before. That is very original. I love it. And I did watch Silver's video. So he was kind of doing a rebuttal, right? I don't want to call it a clapback, but it kind of was. But I don't want to like speak for him, but I think that that was good. That was really good for him to, tell the proud feet like, hey, I have a regular job that I'm working and I'm still trying to find Sebastian. I've been looking for him since June, and kind of gave some backstory. I thought it was really well done, in terms of him, sticking up for himself. We have got to stick up for ourselves, right? So that's commendable in my opinion. I don't let anybody give me any crap, even though I'm really, really nice at first, and you know, I'm just nice to people in general and polite on these streets when you first meet me. Um, and everything, in chats and stuff like that. I just try to be nice, but sometimes I'm silly. But I also think that it's important to stand up for myself. And if somebody's giving me crap, I'm not going to take it. I don't care who it is or how many of them there are. I'm not going to take it. Right. And especially if it's Mr. Foot. Silver's put out a great video today, in my opinion, called The Feet and called out the feet for not looking. So, and one thing I wrote under his video was that, Sebastian's army was started by Seth, Sebastian's father, and that he is not alone. He was never alone. Especially if he started looking in June. Oh my gosh, Sebastian's army was huge. I just really wish that we would stick together better. I know that we have the common cause of finding Sebastian. I know that for a fact. But I just wish that we would not, fall into the dark triads. Don't let any dark triads in. That's where things get sticky. Mama, thank you for the green hearts. So, and Sasha, I don't know about moccasins. I mean, I know what moccasins are, but I don't know what or who would have been wearing moccasins. Are you talking about the feet wearing moccasins? Lisa, praying for justice and a green heart. Thank you. Hey, Jilly, good to see you. Peace, love, and Jeeps. Are you having trouble with your audio? Because it seems fine on my end. All right, and so let's see who else we have in here. How are we to pay the huge mortgage and eat out every night? I don't know. I have no idea. Are you talking about the feet, or are you talking about the house across the street from Worsham's? Oh, I see. Okay, now I know the answer to my question. And the RVs and jewelry and cars and taxes. LOL. Yeah, well, I mean, taxes are their own beast, aren't they? I don't know how they get their extra money. But I think that there could be some nefarious, yeah, asses is what they are, nefarious activities that may be involved, right? I mean, obviously they know people that are super unsavory. So, and that's just me, being kind again, I mean, That's my opinion. I think they run with some dirty people. I mean, that's very obvious with who they've chosen to run with. Again, it's important to remember that when you run with people, that's who you are. That's who you're portraying yourself to be. That's your reputation. So, I always try to choose wisely, and I can't believe that they've chosen what they have. Catherine, it's so good to see you. Thank you for being here. Yes, thank you, Chi so much. Why at the same time this was ready scheduled? This is the first time I actually made it on time when I scheduled a day show, Sasha. Thank you for noticing. So okay, you had your mute on. Peace, love, and Jeeps. Okay, good. I was looking on this side. I'm like, I don't think so. But sometimes, it's choppy and I don't even know it. I've gone back and listened to other lives and stuff, which is really not my cup of tea, guys. I don't like watching my lives back. So, I'd rather watch somebody else's live, which is so funny, but it's true. Uh, it's irrelevant, or if it's relevant to finding Sebastian, it's on the table. So that's not our problem, but it may have affected our boy, and that is a problem, in my opinion. I mean, right now, Sasha, I have to be so open because I honestly thought Sebastian would have been found by now. I can't believe how incompetent law enforcement appears to be. I can't, I really can't believe it. And my problem with it is that you would think that if these people were so prominent and well known and pillars of the community, or Chris's mom was some big realtor, and oh, she has major connections, she pays people for their playground equipment, that they would find this young man and they would be relentless. And they would stop at nothing, right? Because we've all seen the rich people get their way, right? So when I think about that, and then I think about the flip side of that, I think about how the rich people are getting their way. And that's all I want to say about that for now. Holly, says if the police, especially the FBI, are talking about this, I guarantee you they're talking about this topic. I think so too, right, Holly? Like, that would be the professional and the rational, reasonable way to handle it. I really think so, right? I really think that would be the route to go, because let's face it, we're trying to put our investigator hats on, right? Even though we are just regular people. And it's because we're interested in solving a mystery here. We're interested in finding Sebastian. And I think a lot of Sebastian's case has the intrigue behind it. Like, what could have happened to this beautiful kid? He goes home with his mother from the Texas Roadhouse. I mean, and then all of a sudden there's no trace of him. What happened, right? And if people aren't asking that question, then there's something wrong. And if you're covering this case and you're not asking that question, again, with all due respect, there's something wrong. So, and that goes for every case. But we're putting our investigative hats on, and in doing that, it's going to bring us right to look at from the inside out, right? And then if that doesn't work, we start looking at the outside in, right? Because there's something that we're all missing, or there's a huge piece of this that we don't know. And that's my opinion. But I know what you're saying, because I'm sure, and this should have been, like I said in the beginning, something that they were doing, right? When you go to the house and they say, okay, our son ran away, we don't know what happened, he wasn't here when we woke him up for school, that's the point where you shut that house down, right? You take the people who were with him last and you put them in a room. you get Seth Rogers, you make sure that you call his commander or whatever, commando, his boss. We talked about his boss. And thank you for everyone who shared that video. I didn't realize how many people shared that video. So thank you guys all for doing that. I really appreciate when you guys do that for me. And it lets me know that you enjoyed that content, so much, even more than a like, so thank you for doing that. Means a lot. So then, we hear from his boss. His boss should have already had him cleared and good to go. And, Bob's your uncle, get the hell on out of here, right? Because what they should have done with Seth in the beginning is they should have cleared him from work. And then they should have started looking at him from the inside and outward, right? And then cleared him, because if you have an alibi established, that's one of the main things that can really save your ass. But on top of that, if it's something where Sebastian, absolutely didn't meet anybody, online or on Seth's devices, and we could tell that he didn't meet anybody on his devices, then who does that leave, guys? I mean, it's just like back to Sesame Street, in my opinion, and I cannot believe that it's taken this long. I think maybe we need the Duck Dynasty to go back to Sesame Street, in my opinion. Stephanie says, in my opinion, it needs to come out because Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers matters and is still missing. I think so too, Stephanie. And, I mean, if we could have avoided that, then, I would have been better for it, I think. But since we haven't found him, I think we have to re-examine it, especially knowing what we know now. And Katie's behaviors, I would have never thought that she would be this way. So, Lisa, that's funny. I know some people are not big fans of horror, but I just didn't want to do real true crime. I'm sure there's a tasteful way of doing it, but I just didn't want to do I think that horror movies are what a creative person comes up with to explain real life monsters. So when I think of a horror movie, and especially my favorite author is Stephen King, and in his books and in his world, he's a character himself. He really goes over some of the elements of good versus evil. He really goes into what our biggest fears are, and to me it's absolutely expressing the true evil and the true monsters that walk among us. And so for me, horror is kind of like funny almost, yeah, it's scary, but it kind of makes me laugh a little bit, if that makes sense. Because it really portrays, these complete villains and psychopaths that we, see in everyday life. So I think it's just an artistic expression rather than something that's I know I'm not a huge fan of gore and stuff like that, but you can't really have horror movies without a little bit of gore. Sasha says, I think victims should let us know what offends them so we know, because we care about how they feel immensely and would not be offended or would not want to offend. Yeah, I mean, the problem is our victims don't have voices. A lot of them just don't have voices. So yeah, it's a difficult situation. That's so funny. Holly, that's so funny. Making out with our little boyfriends in the Chucky movie, right? I've been there, girl. No, that's so cute. Some of the movies are just that's like a cult classic, right? Chucky, who would have thought? That little doll used to freak me out. I used to love dolls growing up, But then like Chucky came out, and then you got like Annabelle. All nowadays, like dolls freak me out. Like if I see a doll, I'm like, ooh, hopefully it's not possessed. But it's all in good fun. Holly, I have to go get the grands. Oh, drive safe. Oh, blessings to you, Lisa. Thanks for being here. That's funny. I know, I know. Hey, being a little psychotic every now and then is okay, Witchy. It's just when you're like, taking it to a whole nother level, which a lot of these people do, right? Um, Aw, thank you, Holly. It is kind of like that for me, I'm like, wow, I can't believe it's just so fulfilling, and I just love, doing it. More than anything I've really ever done, I mean, other than when I was, working with kids with special needs, that was another really awesome job, that was super rewarding, that I enjoyed a lot. Um, I love to do statement analysis. Sasha says, I think I have the statement analysis down pretty good after 11 years, and I'm a slow learner, I think, but definitely capable. Sasha, you're awesome. Don't you say you're a slow learner, girl. You be picking up on stuff over here pretty quick. Um, so, oh my gosh, little Miss Sharon. Oh no, that's early. Oh gosh. I mean, I can move it up to 7. Well, the problem is it's a Saturday, and I'm like, oh, I forgot it's a Saturday. And then I'm like, I don't want to do it too late because I want you guys all to be able to do it. But also, you know, I live in close quarters. Like it's a small, I mean, it's a pull behind camper, so it's a new one and everything, which is cool. But it's just hard to get, to be like, be quiet, don't make any background noise. I'm very particular, and then I get like stressed out because I'm like, people wearing earbuds can hear everything, and then the dog's crunching on stuff, and he's eating, he's slurping his water bowl, and you guys probably hear every single thing. So if I could find a way to get it to where it wasn't as loud. And then also like Friday and Saturday nights here, you guys, it's bumping. Like it's a party, you guys. Like I'm telling you, from about probably 7 o'clock to like 10:30, people are like singing karaoke over at the pavilion. People are riding their golf carts and having parades with them. Like, dude, they do everything here. They have a ball. And I'm always working, so I don't participate in a lot of it, but um, it's cute to see them out there doing that. But I can also hear everything they're doing, so it can be quite distracting. Just if I'm trying to stay on track with the show and everything. So yeah, don't sue yourself. Sasha, people that say they're going to sue for other people's opinions, I mean, unless they're inciting violence or something like that. I mean, people are going to have their own opinions. Not everybody's going to be, you know, each other's cup of tea, and that's okay. Where it should stay, in my opinion, is where you don't have to bash other people. You don't have to bully people around. You don't have to get a group of yous together and try to build a channel off the back of another big channel by bashing that person. That is hate channel, material. And if I have to get into it, I will. You guys know I will. So if we need to go there, we'll go there. But I'm gonna try to make a couple of calls and shoot a couple of text messages. So I know, little Miss Sharon, I am a nerd, and that's why I put Erica from Stranger Things. She's a little girl on there, and she calls her brothers nerds, right? Because they play D&D. But I don't know. I just enjoy sci-fi, and I always have. I've always been a fan of it. I get that from my dad. So Yeah, and that's the thing, Holly. A lot of these kids are so smart and they could change the world, right? They could. And you think about when they're, kidnapped, missing, or something even worse happens, or we find out, that they lost their life too soon. You wonder about how the world is completely affected and forever changed without them in it, and it's enough to make us weep. Um, Sasha says he loves music and animals, anything that challenges him to do something new, and he likes to be happy and laugh at stuff. I know, I love it, Sasha. My favorite story, um, and I would love to, hear Seth tell it again. I need to go clip that and put it in a video. Maybe we could, play it in the intro. But my favorite story of Sebastian was his father saying that he went to the school and was talking with the teachers after Sebastian disappeared, and he was saying that the school resource officer had told him that Sebastian came up to him every day and said, "How many tickets are you going to write, today?" Which I thought was so cute and so ornery, which I love, and just silly, right? Like, so who are you gonna get in trouble today, right? Like, it's just too cute. And I wish that, I could hear it from Sebastian, or, I wish I could have been a fly on the wall to see that, because that to me is so funny. The green tea video, when I saw that, I'm like, this kid is so cute and funny, right? And I didn't think he looked goofy or acted goofy. I thought he was just really funny and witty. And he does get that from Seth, by the way. Anybody that has met Seth or kind of has been around him, Seth can be really funny himself, and silly. He likes to laugh too. I'm sure it's not as much as he used to, and that's very apparent when you meet Seth too. Something huge is missing. His son is missing. Peace, love, and if I talk about that subject, I will start bawling. Peace, love, and Jeep says, in my opinion, Chris and Katie are enjoying the pain they are causing for Seth. Yeah, absolutely. It's so hard to wrap my mind around that evil, and it is evil. It is absolutely evil. It's the epitome of evil. It's again, when we watch a movie like Carrie, right? For example, when we read the book, especially, I'm a big believer in reading the book, and then you watch the movie, it's going to be a letdown, yes, but the book, it is so much better, and you'll have such a wider imagination afterwards. But oh, give me 1 second. Hold on. So with that being said, when we see the scene where, like, Carrie's just like getting ready, right? And she's trying to fit in school, and those girls just like rip her up because she didn't understand what was happening when she got, her first cycle. And how they just like all like got on top of her and dogpiled her and bullied her, or how they made her think that that guy really wanted to go to the dance with her, but he didn't. That's the kind of thing that I have always been intrigued by, is that evil, that it's almost like it can seep from one person to the other like a dark smoke, and it's so disgusting and gross. And if we're unaware of it, it can be utterly shocking. If we're aware of it, we can protect ourselves. So I've always thought that knowing about the evils of the world were so important, and that's another thing that I always loved about Stephen King's books and movies, seeing it portrayed. Yeah, Sebastian is very brave. And another thing that I remember Seth telling a story about was that he was bit by a dog when he was younger, but he still loves dogs. He didn't hold it against all dogs. just because he got bit by one. And I think that's a very strong and important message, especially for today, and especially with the way that I'm feeling. Little Miss Sharon, thank you so much. Yeah, we always got to say allegedly in our IMO. And Sebastian is respectful to other people and patient unless someone is deliberate jerk. Yeah, and I see that in Devlin Tate as well. We heard Devlin Tate say that on his Facebook. We heard him say that in text messages, right? I'm a nice person and I like helping people, but I don't want somebody to boss me. I don't want somebody to bully me, right? Again, stand up for yourself and stand strong because sometimes you'll be the only one standing there. Stephanie says, in my opinion, KK and Edgar and the bowel sucks. I don't know. I don't know if that was deliberate, but that's a good one. Plus, as much effort, put as much effort into looking for Sebastian as much as they do trying to stop everyone from finding him. We won't be on this as much, in my opinion. Well, I mean, we wouldn't be on this as much, in my opinion. I agree. I think that again, when they're going after other people or watching their whereabouts more than they're looking for Sebastian, and they're worried about the whereabouts of people who are searching for Sebastian. So that tells me that their criminal minds are trying to figure out if somebody is getting close to Sebastian, in my opinion, right? Because they were cocky and said that, oh, thank you so much, Chuchi. They were cocky and said that, this is going to be a case to be studied and we're not going to find them and blah, blah, we're not going to end up finding Sebastian, blah, blah, blah. And that just simply isn't true. I think it's TikTok. It's only a matter of time until those bracelets go clingy, cling, cling, and you're in the clinker. Okay? So, and especially because people are not going to stop. I know his father's never going to stop. I know Sebastian's army is never going to stop. That's all I know I got from the statement, analysis, and video. He's alert and aware, but trusting, and we're just beginning to realize something was off. Yeah, I mean, a lot of stuff was off. I remember watching the Proud Feet in their interview. And I remember watching them whenever they were making some fun of Sebastian. It wasn't good enough to say that he's a tomboy, which is a term for a female, child. It wasn't enough that they were telling people that his mind is so much younger than his body and hasn't caught up yet. But it wasn't enough to tell people hey, he doesn't like bugs. Katie actually took joy in making fun of Sebastian and, the way that he would react to a bug. That little creepy thing she did. And then she, I need to clip that. But that's what she was doing. She was making fun of him, and that's something that was so off to me that I was like, is she for real? This is this kid's mom, or is he the step? And then I'm like, wait a minute, are these people even related to this child? So I know, Sandy, I wish I could make it up to New York. I've never been to New York before. I don't know what I would do. And, I'm a Chicago girl, but wow, I bet you it's so fast paced up there. I wish I could start in New York and kind of make my way around, down and around. But oh my gosh, yes, I am. I'm having to leave early, and I didn't realize that. I think I left during the week I did, because Pigfest was on like Pigfest like started on a Thursday. And so I drove down Wednesday night, and then I got there on Thursday and I crashed for like 2 hours. And then I got up and threw some makeup on and went to Pigfest. Excuse me. So I didn't realize that like the rental car places are not open on a Sunday. That's crazy, because people travel on Sunday. It's weird. Anyway, Enterprise is not open, and I started a points with them, and so I don't want to change over, and it's a whole ass mess. But like I said, Sandy, definitely send me, the messages. And like I said, if you want to do it in the email, or if you guys would like to wait until I post the other ones and put it on the community wall so you can see that it's down there, that might be something to do. But I just want to make sure I do one post. You know what I mean, instead of like multiple. So that way you guys can put it all in one location. Or I would start a post and then, add to it or whatever, but I think it's probably better to do it this way. But I still want to get your messages over, Well, I mean, Sasha, I was telling you guys, I don't know if you guys remember this, but I was telling you guys my daughter was the same way. Like when she was a teenager, I was like, you need a coat. Like there would be some times where I would be like, whatever, if she doesn't want to wear a coat, she doesn't have to. But then again, like there were times where I'm like, you need to, I don't care. You're not 18 yet, put on a coat. But you're right. Sometimes, as kids, like a coat isn't cool or something. I don't know, especially nowadays. Maybe that's true. Again, growing up in Chicago, like it was cool to wear coats, otherwise you freeze your little butt off. But yeah. And also I would always look at it as like a reflection of myself, which is not always proper. But I'd be like, people are going to think that I don't have a coat for her or something, even when she was older, like 15, 16, So there's that. Stephanie Williams, so good to see you. Thank you for being here. Oh, thank you, Sandy. I was going to say thank you for the green hearts and prayer hands. And then I saw Sandy, that's so sweet of you. Thank you for gifting 10 Lady Freedom's Raw Narratives memberships. And if you got a membership, please make sure you say thank you and welcome to the Dragon Tribe. And also, welcome to the trivia. You guys are going to have a great time with the trivia. Like I said, I've just enjoyed making it. It's not finished just yet, but that's right. That's right. We have enough hate. We really do, Chuchi. This world is full of it, and we need to come together and find the missing loved ones, and coming together. And when we're talking about these cases, to make sure that we focus on the cases more than we focus on what another creator has an opinion on about the case. That doesn't matter as much as the case itself, because the beautiful thing about having your own channel is that you can paint the picture however you'd like, right? I mean, Lady Freedom's Raw Narratives, it's my narrative that I'm telling, right? It's the story that I'm telling. It's the stories that I tell. But it's from my perspective. But then it's awesome when I put it out to you guys, and then you guys can form your own opinions about it. And also, you guys have the best ideas, right? I see your wheels turning, Sasha, and that's a great thing. Chuchi, you and I spend so much time researching. We've talked in the Discord, a bunch of us, just about these cases, and it really helps to put our heads together, right? It's a good place for us to share other videos or, things that are pertaining to the case. And like I said, I want to build out a more sophisticated Discord where we only talk about the cases. That's it. And if that's something that you guys are interested in, then you can sign up, and it'll be a level up. But it'll just be a level up, and everybody that has access to the $3.99. If you level up and you get in there, you're still going to have access to that too, right? You'll get the whole shebang. But I think it's very important to come together and put our heads together and be like, well, look at this screenshot from 2024, when Sebastian was missing for like 4 weeks, something like that. Look at the screenshot. Look at this, because we all have so much information right now, you guys, but it's too spread out. It's very widespread, and people are, forming their own little subgroups and only keeping information in those groups. That's the worst thing that we could do for these cases. The best thing that we can do is put our heads together. Like, for real. Well, and he was shut into his house, I think, Sasha, and isolated, in my opinion. I know, right? Thank you, Holly, for thanking Sandy. Sandy, that was so sweet. I don't know who all got the memberships, but welcome to the Dragon Tribe, and I hope you guys enjoy it. I know, that is so sweet. Thanks, Witchy. And Cece says, right, Sasha, I told my boys to put their jackets, and I always was met with resistance, right? Yeah, I know. Yeah, my daughter would do the same thing though. It would make me laugh. I'd be like, oh my gosh. And then again, like I said, it would be a reflection of me. Like, people are going to think I don't have a coat for you, and it's like, oh, who cares, right? Not a big deal, but it's hard because kids start rebelling at those ages. The teenagers were tough, right? Especially with the girl. I don't know what it's like to have a boy. So, there's that. Thank you, little Miss Sharon. Thank you, Chuchi. Oh, thank you, Holly S, for sending the $9.99 super sticker. You're so awesome. Thanks, Holly. So, oh, thank you, little Miss Sharon. Welcome to the Dragon Tribe. So, when it comes to Sebastian's case, we've kind of been going over this family. Today, I woke up and somebody had sent me over a live that I didn't get to listen to, but it was done by this lady here. I'm sorry. Our green hoodie candidate, okay. Oh, thank you. I'm sorry. I just look at this lady. She makes me laugh. They are dangerous. The Krama people are dangerous and hateful. It's a low vibration, right? That's one thing that I've learned too over time, is to make sure that I stay at a high vibration, and then I'm aligned with others who are at a higher vibration. And I know that sounds a little like new age and like, meditative or whatever, but I think it's very important. And I think it protects your mindset when you can put yourself in that headspace. Sorry, I can't take this lady seriously. This lady is absolutely wacky, tacky, taffy, right? I told you guys about Nutty Buddy fruitcakes. This one is wacky, wacky, taffy, tacky. Taffy. I mean, it's like when you take a piece of taffy and you just pull. Oh boy. So, woo. We've been trying to compare this lady with the green hoodie. It's all alleged in our opinion. I don't know if this is the green hoodie. I'm trying to figure out how tall this lady is. I don't know. I have a feeling that we might need to get some Kevlar or something, some armor, because this one is absolutely baddie. All right, so then we have Francis also, who resembles the green hoodie a lot. Now, the problem with the green hoodie is it's weird that we cannot get a proper facial recognition on green hoodie. If At Night is listening, we need a proper picture of green hoodie, please. We'd like to do a comparison, right? I mean, We have to, right? Because we have Katie who has this, different persona when she thinks no one is watching. We also saw her sneaking pictures of Sebastian at the table when he's trying to eat. And for her to say that he lacks awareness, he knew she was taking the pictures of him. He noticed. He just didn't think anything of it because she's his mother and he trusted her. It's really sick if we think about that one. Ah, Holly says, hold on, I think I was up a little bit. Oh, this is the one I wanted to read. Sandy says, I wonder how Katie feels when she's uh, green or drinks green tea. How can you wake up and breathe every day? I don't know, Sandy. I would be beside myself. This is her only child. Like, I could see maybe if Katie had like another child, say that was little or something like that, I might could see her, tending to that child's needs, putting on a happy face because she has to, reminds me of Brandy Neal, right? Michael Monkey Vaughn's mother. She had another little baby girl at home that she had to make sure that was okay too. And so in that regard, I understand when there's that strong face and and things like that. Katie doesn't even have anybody to live for anymore, in my opinion, and she acts like she's completely fine with that. It's a huge red flag. And again, it's about who we align ourselves with, and I would never align myself with Katie Proudfoot ever, even if Sebastian was still on this planet with us, not missing, not kidnapped. I wouldn't be the mom at school hanging out with Katie. I just wouldn't, right? I just wouldn't be the one. So I might have to tolerate her if my child played chess with her child, right? Not somebody I would ever align myself with. I'm sure my ex-husband would have gotten along swimmingly with Mr. Foot. But I don't know how she does it. Sandy, they were talking about grave robberies at the very time where they were looking for Sebastian in the cemetery, and there were people that really, really believed that he was buried at the cemetery. And we can be desensitized to things as we go along. But as a mom, it's so personal when you're talking about your child, to be able to sit up on a panel and laugh and joke and carry on the way they did. There's no way that they don't have guilty knowledge, in my opinion. No way on God's green earth that they do not already know where Sebastian is. Now, is Katie acting nonchalant because she knows where Sebastian is and she knows where she has him hiding or who is hiding him for her? In my opinion, that could be a very strong possibility. But it can also be just as strong of a possibility that Katie knows that Sebastian is no longer with us. And I hate saying that, but her behavior can really be either one, right? Like, oh, I already know he's not here, so it doesn't, matter, right? I've already grieved. I've already gotten over it. Now I'd like to live my best life and move on, right? Or she's like, ha ha ha, I got him hiding and you guys will never find him and you guys will never know where he is until I choose to let you know. I mean, it's horrible to have to think about, what the intentions are and how their reactions are anything but normal. Yeah, it is so gross. It's gross. It's gross, Holly, and it's sickening. I can't even think about my oldest going to college next year. Oh, I walk upstairs and I'm like, she's not going to be here next year. Oh, Holly, I just die inside. I can't imagine missing one. Hey, you never know. She might choose a school that's right in town. I was lucky to have 7 colleges in town where we lived, with my daughter. And so I was like, choose one of those, but then I was also thinking to myself, choose whatever's best for you, choose whatever's best for you. Right. Cause I do want what's best for her and I want her to make her own choices, but I'm with you, girl. I was the same way. And then when she decided to go to Drury, I was like, oh, thank God. And it's a good school, it's very good school. And has a great program for what she did. So, and then now she'll be graduating in May with her master's. So, I mean, don't worry, you'll get through it, but I know what you mean. I was just glad that like she would be like, "Hey mom, can I come over and do my laundry and stuff?" I'm like, "You don't have to ask. Come on over." You know. Lady Freedom, you're talking about kids. My 10-year-old has been listening to you since he was 8. Oh, how sweet. Oh, he looks for Sebastian on YouTube. I will admit some gamers have actually looked like him. Oh my goodness, Holly. I remember the one screenshot that you sent me. Oh my gosh. And that he is such a sweetheart. And I'm gonna tell you, all the kids that have come together for Sebastian, like I know we're not like really supposed to talk about the kids, right? I mean, it's hard because they're all, minors and stuff like that, but like it's just it's amazing how they hear everything. Kids are sponges, right? I mean, that's just how it is. And they just hear everything and know that something's up, right? And then some of the things that they say, it's like, wow, I couldn't articulate that better myself. And, I've heard other people try to do it and you got it. Um, it's amazing that there's so many young people that really are searching for Sebastian too. And the fact that he keeps his eyes open, Holly, you're gonna make me cry. But that's so sweet. That is so sweet. And it just shows that even the kids care, and I did think about all of the kids, your son included, Holly, when I heard Ken Widener say, that one of the young boys came up and was saying, hey, you might look for Sebastian here, or try this, try that. I wonder what he thinks after 2 years. I wonder what these kids think about after 2 years. And I think it's like out of the mouths of babes, we need to listen to what the kids are saying because they're very intuitive and, with them being the same age as Sebastian or around that age, they can relate. They just can relate. So I'm pretty sure they are good, but they move so much by the time I can find them, they're gone again. Aw. Have you all heard Kid Rock's song 50 50? If you haven't, you need to go make sure your kids are in around Stephanie. I was just saying that he makes me laugh. I'm glad that you're laughing when it comes to Kid Rock because he makes me laugh all the time. If I watch him, I'm just like, oh my gosh. It just reminds me of when he was in Joe Dirt and he's like, you want some whale burgers and some French fries? Like, oh my God. So funny. But no, I have not heard that. The song. Is he 50? Wow. I guess he's doing a birthday tribute. Sandy, I've been reading so much about estrangement. Apparently, that's the new thing. Big mistake. Whoever's pushing this, I'm sorry. Yeah, yeah. No, that's never a good thing. So, hugs for everyone. Thank you, Chuchi. Kid Rock has a home up here and comes to town whenever he's here. His mom has a condo here in town. Really, Linda? That's cool. Do you ever see him out? That's interesting. Aw. Have they found that guy yet? Aw, Holly. Hey, Narita. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you. I know, Narita. That's why I was been trying to do the day lives too. And plus, I'm trying to cram everything in before I go on my trip. I really am. Oh. Oh, they're saying crap about SR cops going to Seth the weekend before he left, blah blah blah. When will the crap stop? Use facts, run with the facts. Well, Sandy, they're just barking up the wrong tree otherwise, aren't they? I've seen a lot of crap. I have seen a lot of crap. It's terrible. Aw, thank you. Thank you, Linda. I was like stopping at the gas station and getting like gas station food, which is terrible. It's like, oh, don't worry about calories don't count when you're on the road, type of a thing. So, but no, I actually got like snacks, before I left. So like I could just, drive and not worry about it. But then when you stop for gas, it's like, you kind of want to get like something hot or whatever. But I also was drinking coffee. And one thing that I discovered while I was there, because they don't have like a lot of Starbucks, drinks at the gas stations that I was at, like as I was going. But they had something called Black Rifle coffee. Oh my God, you guys, that stuff is so good. And another thing that I'm gonna do that I didn't do last time is I'm gonna buy my little double shots of espresso and like stock up on them at Walmart. So that way I don't have to like buy them as I'm, driving, because obviously that adds up too. But that way I'll have them too. But I mean, Black Rifle coffee, it's good. It's good stuff. I highly recommend it. And I'm sorry if I'm behind in chat. Yeah, 601 KCC. So Daniel Martell was arrested, but it's not for Jack and Lily. It's for assaulting another adult in a SA manner, apparently, or something. I don't know. I really didn't understand it. And then I also saw people who were bashing me on the panel over there, so I just figured I wasn't gonna stick around for that. I'm good on that. So yeah, I don't know. Daniel Martell, I think it's only a matter of time until his house of cards comes tumbling down on him too. I just hope they find Jack and Lily. And that's another case where I don't see how they would be hiding Jack and Lily with their limited resources. Like Chris and Katie, I can see them hiding Sebastian. With Jack and Lily, I don't think that with their limited resources, that they would be able to do that unless it was like on the reservation type of a thing. You know what I mean? But no, that was kind of more like nothing to do with Jack and Lily. So yeah, I didn't think they were as well connected as rich people. So it's so crazy to me that not a single one person has come forward saying that they're great people. No, only Julio. Julio was in, of all places, right? Duchess or Dutch girl. And he was like, Chris was great with my kids. I'm like, that doesn't even make sense if you're his coworker. You didn't have your kids at the job site. I know that's I mean, my father's in construction. You don't bring your kids to the job site typically, unless they're a little bit older and I mean, definitely there wouldn't be a union outfit that would be doing that. It goes against OSHA and a whole bunch of other, regulations, I would think. I think the FBI should have the case immediately, definitely. Hey, Celine, she says Daniel Martell has been arrested in NS SA enforcement confinement of an adult on Monday, praying they will be found soon. Yeah, I do too. I'm praying with you, Celine. Thank you for that update. Yeah, Daniel Martell is a creeper. I told you guys, have you guys ever seen the movie with Tom Hanks? It's called The Burbs. Let me see if I can find a picture. I'll make you guys laugh for a second. Hold up. This is hilarious because when I first saw Daniel Martell, this is who I thought of, right? The Burbs with Tom Hanks, right? And he lives in the neighborhood and he has lived there for a long time, right? Oh, it's free with ads. So what I'll do is just like I'll show you guys a picture of the guy I'm talking about. Oh, I need to go watch Fried Green Tomatoes. We were talking about that yesterday and it's free on YouTube. I have that movie. I own that movie. When we traveled down from Missouri, I said it right the first time. I took a picture of Valdosta, Georgia, because of the sign, because I was like, "Ooh, fried green tomatoes." Okay, so let me show you guys. He's like, "Oh, sardines," but everybody in the neighborhood, these people move in, and they're super creepy, right? And so everybody in the neighborhood kind of like gets together because the one night they are watching, and this guy. Okay, wait. Oh God. This is so funny. Okay, hold on. We have to have Daniel Martell is entering the chat. All right, so thank you, Sandy. Say his name, Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. With the green hearts. Thank you, Sandy. Okay, so this is Daniel Martell, right? So he moves into the neighborhood. And everybody is like wondering who these people are, right? So one night he comes out and he's like smashing the garbage, right? Now one of the other neighbors is missing, and so they all go out and they're like watching him, right? This might I might have to cut this out later, but if you're in the live, this is what you get when you This is Daniel Martell. All right, you guys, I have to make sure I'm gonna go down and chat so I'm caught up, okay? Hello, Sammy. Good to see you, Trishy. Hello, welcome in, guys. Oh my goodness. Hello, Robini. Good to see you. Oh my goodness. Oh Lord, help us all. Hello, Gail. Hello, Poppy Love. Oh, I'm just so glad that you guys put up with me. Okay, KJ Mac, good to see you. Good to see you. Good to see you. This is Daniel. And yes, but instead of buddy, it's like butt with 2 T's. Oh my goodness, you guys are laughing at me from some silliness earlier, but no, I want to see you guys' reaction to Mr. Martell here. Okay, Daniel Koberger. Oh my God. So when I first saw Mr. Martell, this is who I thought of. I was like, oh, here we go. Right? Here's the neighbors, right? And their neighbor, his name's Walter, he's missing, right? And so so people are like in the neighborhood, they're like, oh my God, who are these people? So then they decide they're going to go, over there and talk to them and meet them one night, right? So they kind of all go over as a bunch of like a group of people, and they're like, hey, we would like, we would like to welcome you guys to the neighborhood and stuff, but really they're just trying to figure out like what the hell could be happening with these people because they're so strange, right? And so they all, head over. They all head over. They all head over to greet these people. Hey, Sparky. They go over and they're like, everybody just act normal, right? And so they're not happy to be there, but then they do go in there and then they meet this family, and the family is very strange, right? Oh my goodness. It is such a hilarious movie, right, Gail? And then Corey Feldman was in it and he's like, oh, it's the pizza dude. The pizza dude is here. Oh, it's such a great movie. You guys got to watch it. I'll put the link in the chat, but otherwise, I don't want to get, struck too bad like with this. But they go over there and they're like in this creepy house and they have no idea what to do. And see, if I wanted to be mean to Daniel Martell, I really could roast him. I really could roast him if I wanted to. But I did say before that I was going to refrain from taking on Jack and Lily's case because there was so much that was going on, and it was feeling a lot very reminiscent of Sebastian's case. And so I decided that I would wait and I would probably like do updates, which I've kind of done. And I need to have been better about that. But unfortunately, there you go. There's Daniel. But I mean, it's just one of those things. So that's my interpretation of Daniel. Now, Malaya, she reminds me of Katie. She reminds me of Katie. Just again with less money. So Bo. And this is what Daniel looked like when we first met him, right? He was like really rough. And then as we've gone on, he started to be like GQ Daniel, because he was doing TV interviews. Holly, I'm pretty sure these are his relatives. But he was doing all kinds of appearances, and so he kind of cleaned up for those, in my opinion. And so there we go. I'll put myself right over there. But as we've gone on, that again, I have to say that like Daniel and Malaya gave a very similar story, right? And there was still some major discrepancies within the story. And then another thing is that they split up, right? Which I found to be interesting. But we also found out that Daniel is abusive. He's a quiet Chris Proudfoot, in my opinion. So we have the same dynamic, but 2 children missing instead of 1. I always found it weird, especially when we heard the audio or, saw the video where Lily is super excited about, the birthday cake, and they're bringing the birthday cake out for Jack, but she is just, over the moon excited about it. And she's screaming at the top of her lungs, and I'm like, just picturing if somebody grabbed her and Jack up, say they were out there playing, even if they were playing like a little bit too close to the road or waiting on the bus, and somebody just kind of drove up and grabbed them, I would think she would let out a scream, because she loved her little brother. And I myself am the big sister. I'm the oldest one. So when me and my brother were in school, we're only 2 years apart. I would always look out for my brother. Like, you didn't mess with my brother. If I knew about it, it wouldn't happen. It was funny because I was only 2 years older than him, but I would be like, oh no, you do not, that's my brother, And I think that's how Lily was, with Jack. Was like, that's, my little brother, and I'm protecting him. And I just don't see somebody getting away with doing that without them being hurt, without them hearing Lily, especially if you think of where they're located. It would echo and reverberate. Like, she's got a set of pipes now. So, yeah, YouTube. I know, Poppy. It's horrible because YouTube does take out, I want to say it's like 60% or something weird. I don't know the exact percentage, but they do take out a lot. The only reason I do a Venmo and a Cash App is so that way, um, it like because even like next month, I was encouraging people to donate that way just because we only get paid once a month for YouTube, so it's not like we get paid weekly or something like that. So you have to wait till the next month to get it. So that's another downfall about, YouTube. But I hope it gets a little bit better for creators. I mean, I know it sometimes if you're viral, if you go viral or whatever, or if you just have like a lot of people, it doesn't really probably matter. Um, you know, but it's tough to budget either way once a month. It really is. Getting paid once a month. So, um, you know, and Chris does like to brag, Sasha, and I think Daniel likes to brag too. He was real proud of himself when he passed that polygraph. I was like, okay, Daniel, you know, um, yeah, Gail. It's just, the thing is that I think that the whole situation is weird. I think that their timeline was off from the very beginning. The first thing, whenever I was watching Daniel and Malaya's timeline details, I was like, something is way off. There's a big gap, right? In terms of like what was going on and how things were happening. Um, and that no, and that's right, Witchy. Exactly. Like I could tease my little brother, but you better not. Yeah, you better not tease him. Like that's my job, kind of a thing. So, um, absolutely. And I think she was like that with Jack. I think she was, and even Jack being, even if he's littler, he's the same way with her. I think they looked out for each other. Um, and it's so bizarre to have two missing at once. It really is. Oh, thank you, Chuchi. So, right? It's true, Yale. And damn, save some for your channel. YouTube selfish. I know. I know, Sasha. It's terrible, isn't it? Um, I mean, I could see them taking like a little bit, but they do. They take an awful lot. And I think they should pay a little bit more for AdSense too. Because, I mean, I don't know. I probably should try to look for sponsorships and stuff like that. Um, you know, but I really need to amp up my game, when I come back from this trip and start doing, lives and, showing myself because I think that helps a lot more too. It's more professional, in terms of sponsors wanting to take you on. Um, so that's just kind of my thought on that. Yeah, I know. That would be it is hard, Sasha. Um, so yeah, it's definitely hard. Well, you just have to budget and things like that. And I'm pretty decent with that. I don't require a lot. I'm pretty easygoing with things. I mean, so I don't know. And everything that's here, you know, on the resort is just like I have everything that I need. So it's not like I have to pay for a gym membership or any of that kind of stuff, which is nice. It's all included. It's possible that the dog did attack. I don't know, just speculation. Oh, I didn't know about a dog. Did the Martells have a dog? Or Brooks Murray? Martell slash Brooks Murray? Or, oh, are you talking about Janie's dogs? Okay, I think I know you're talking about Janie's dogs. Yeah, I know. I don't know, Sammy. I mean, I was gonna do like a goal next month, but I have to see what I'll be short on because like I said, like last time I wasn't expecting to have a $300 deposit, but now I know about that this time. So I already put that aside from this month. Um, and, or excuse me, from last month. We got paid this, for this month, or this month, last month. Um, so I have that. Gas was actually, I want to say I filled up. Now I had like a little mid-sized car. I think it's a mid-sized car. And it was really good on gas. So, but like this time, like I said, I want to do more preparations in terms of getting like snacks and stuff. But then there's also the umbrellas. So I want to tell you guys a little bit about the umbrellas, what we kind of came up with. So our friend Texana, all right, possible green hoodie situation, is deciding that she's going to fly a drone. Let me see if I can't find her post, but she's deciding that she's going to fly a drone over and around and through the streets of Sumner County on the day that we are going to go out there for the Gathering of Voices, or the whole week, actually. Let's see. And so, I was like, well, who cares? What's she gonna do? And I'm like, let her do it. So what, right? But then people were like, hey, I think it's a good idea that we go ahead and prepare for that. And people were saying, that we should get umbrellas so that way she's not able to see us, but what she will see is our love and support for Sebastian and his father on that day. And so let me pull this up because this is exactly what she said, and I don't want to misquote her. I always like to bring it true. And so let's bring it true. Here we go. Let me take this down. Oh, whoops, not that one. All right, so here we go. So here is Texana's post, and it says, as of the week of February 22nd, so she's going to be there even a day before any of the other people will be there, yikes, through February 27th, 2026, approaches, please consider where the associates of Mr. Seth Rogers may congregate near the Sumner County Sheriff's Office. Well, we don't have to consider that. So Texana, it says it right on the Gathering of Voices flyers where we will be congregating at. And honestly, it's none of your damn business if we would like to do that. That is our right to gather and to voice our opinions. If you don't like that, then maybe you're not American, in my opinion. Okay, so she's saying, given the diverse group of individuals associated with the upcoming activity, respect for public service vehicles and local residents is appreciated, right? We're not going to be giving out flyers or putting them on anybody's cars. Don't worry. So just untwist those little panties just the same way you twisted them up, because it's not going to happen. We will be handing flyers to those people who are willing to accept them. Instead of purchasing a cake for the sheriff's department, consider using the funds to buy additional Sebastian Rogers flyers for distribution at the event. With multiple activities taking place in Central Tennessee during this week, please prioritize caution and safety at all times. Right? So she says that comment. And she might have taken the other one down. Just a very weird individual. Let's see. All right, let me read the one that I got a screenshot of because obviously she might have taken this down. But again, she is posting pertaining to the week that we are going to the gathering of voices and voicing our concerns. Um, and she nor no one else can take that away from us. Oh yeah, so that was okay a day ago. I'm not going to go through all of her batshit posts just to get to the one I'm looking for. Um, oh, oh my goodness. Give me 1 second. Sorry, I saw something really, really cute when I opened up my message. Um, just bear with me here. Okay, yeah, because this was from a little while back. Here it is. All right. So she says aerial photography teams will be operating drones in Tennessee during the week of February 22nd through the 26th. Please refrain from approaching our team members that will be wearing webcams or have drones. The streets are public, you don't own them. Had several searchers going on in the last few days. Right, and you don't own them either, Texana. I hate to break it to you. I know that you're is nuttier than, friggin' chicken salad, but you do not intimidate me, nor do you scare me, nor am I going to change any plans that I have for voicing my concerns that Sebastian needs to be found and that he has been missing for too long. And if that's not your concern, then I feel sorry for ya. No, they didn't, Nani. It was, I hate to say clickbait, but it kind of was clickbaity. Because Daniel was arrested, but he wasn't arrested in anything that was connected with Jack and Lily. He's a bad guy, in my opinion. And no, honey, they didn't find Jack and Lily. No, they didn't. So yeah, Chuchi, I would love to have you up on panel. I would love to have you up on panel. Um, I know that Kiki and I are trying to do a panel. I just told her, I was like, girl, I have to make sure that I'm streaming on mine. And I don't know that she's figured out how to do like a multi-stream yet, because again, it's so hard because on YouTube you have to um like if you're streaming on somebody else's, then they're getting AdSense, and I know that sounds like it's just tough. The more that you go live, the better. But then again, it can be so exhausting, as well. And also just trying to find topics. But you guys are so good. You guys keep me um, engaged in everything. I hope I do the same for you. My best advice for sponsorships would be to make the ads fun and funny and not just reading a script halfway through. Right, which yeah, I think so too. I don't know how they do it. I know there's a spot where you can, try to find sponsors and stuff like that, but I think you're right. I think it would be fun to, make it entertaining, right? So yeah, that's a good idea. So, yeah, I know. They don't pay nothing for the commercials. And you know what's funny about shorts is that they promote the heck out of shorts. So like if I make a short, I'll have 1,000 views within, an hour sometimes. Like sometimes I go over there and I'm like, holy cow, I've got 1,000 views on that already. But they pay pennies for shorts because there's no ads in them, right? But you still kind of get credit for it. It's weird. But then the videos, they don't do that as much on, because I just think they push the shorts or whatever. It's weird. And maybe I'm wrong. Like maybe I got it wrong, but yeah, it's sad humbo. Just sad. Maybe since Daniel has been arrested, they might be able to use it as leverage to get him to talk. Yeah, I was thinking that too, Gail. And it just goes to show that, like, he's not a good guy, right? Like, he's not who he's portraying himself to be. He's not a good guy. He is just a person who hides a lot, and he has a mask, and anytime that you see that mask slip, it's a good indication that you're dealing with someone who is very narcissistic. And I believe that's who we have with Daniel. A very narcissistic character. Yeah, it's great. We found some that do pictures on them, so I have to work on that today too, and getting those ordered up, because I would like to have those. That way we don't have to deal with people doing that. If they want to put their cameras in my face, we'll have a little buffer, right? I could put my umbrella down and say, "Be gone, evil troll." And I think I might even get some troll spray. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, they're coming there to cause trouble, which that's what she did whenever they held the vigil. I was telling you guys about that. I mean, she was just being completely awful. And that's just what she does in her life. She wakes up in the morning. She doesn't think about making the world a better place. She thinks about making the world a more awful place for people. If you wake up every day and you think about the one person that maybe your arch nemesis, or maybe you have a rivalry with somebody, or maybe you have beef with somebody, and that's the first person you think about, you really need to get some help. You really do. You need to get some help, because that hatred should not ever drive you or fuel you. And if it does, then you're on the wrong track, in my opinion. So yeah. It is a great idea. And I can't remember who came up with it in chat, but I know Scranton and I were going over the umbrellas that she had found that you can put the pictures on, and I'm like, that's it. So I want to make a nice one for Seth, and bring one down for Jen, and so that way we can build a force field of umbrellas. See if they like that jazz. Hello, Deanna. Good to see you. Oh, you woke up with a tummy bug? Oh, I'm sorry. I hope you feel better soon. Oh, yeah. She tried to make it sound like super important. Yes, Nutty is a squirrel turd. Exactly. Holly, boom. Exactly. I mean, and it's just sad for Sebastian, is what it is. It's so sad for Sebastian, that somebody like that can even be around. But again, we just kind of have to keep going and doing our thing, and let the person do what she wants to do. But I can just see her trying to cause trouble. I would like to see a few of the channels I watch on panel with Lady Freedom, Hindsight, Clutch, and Nerdy Addict. Yep. Yeah, that would be cool, Sasha. I did get confirmation that Josh and Voices of Truth would do a panel with me. I just haven't had a chance. It's been so wacky. So I would love to join them and do a panel on Sebastian, and kind of just like, compare notes, or just kind of be here. Like a Q&A might be cool. I just really would love to have them up. It would be great. Or a multi-stream would also be really cool. I don't know how they usually do it. Josh would probably be the most seasoned person to get together with on that. I just don't want to like make a commitment, and then, I'm about to be so busy. This month is going to be like wild, and then I know it's just going to fly by until the trip comes. So, You can dial stream right. Also, did you see the Mandy said she would love to do a panel with you, a power panel? We used to call it. Oh, cool, Sammy. Yeah, I do. I did see that. I did. I need to get together with Mandy. She's another one that I would just love to do a panel with. Also, Mandy is very versed in the James Hutchinson case. And I would love for us to do like a panel on Sebastian and James, right? Because little James is still missing. And I think about him all the time. I really do. I just think about little James and I think about, you know, he needs to be found. And where they said they put little James, I just don't know if that's true. But then again, it seems like it is. So I would just love to deep dive with her on that case. I think that case should set precedents with how missing children's cases are handled across the United States. You know, Sammy, I think that should be the standard, right? You report your child missing, you're the one that we look at first to make sure we clear you, right? That's the first thing we're going to do. And it really seems to be proper police protocol and procedure. It's just that I don't believe it was followed in Sebastian's case, you know? Sammy says shorts are confusing where the ad revenue is divided among creators minus YouTube paying for copyright or something weird. Yeah, because like you can use copyrighted music in there. But yeah, see, that's why I'm always kind of like, I don't want to use the music. I'll just use my own. And then I know it's weird. Yeah, he was arrested. But not for Jack and Lily, just to be clear. Let me see if I can pull up the article. Let's see. Daniel Martel, aka the Burbs. Yeah, that's right. Nova Scotia. Ooh. Arrested. We'll figure out what he did. Oh, we got GQ Daniel. We got Daniel. Here we go. This was 7 hours ago. And this is the Globe and Mail, and it is Canadian. Let's see. Do we have to pay for it? Oh, I have to pay a 99 cents for it. I hate when they do that. You should never have to pay for news, especially when it's a public safety concern. All right. Let's see. Here we go. Father of the missing children, right? Or stepfather of missing Nova Scotia children facing charges involving adult. Martel was arrested Monday. Monday, the RCMP says he was arrested on Monday. Boom shakalaka. All right, hold on. Oh no, that's the other crazy that should be arrested, in my opinion. Here we go. Here we go. Just one moment, please. All right. So here is GQ Daniel when he was doing his interview about his polygraph, right? And you know, he said he passed it, although we're just taking his word for it though, aren't we? Because I never saw his results. They never came across the YouTube verse, did they? Maybe I missed it. So RCMP have confirmed that Daniel Martel, 34, has been charged with sexual assault and forcible confinement involving an adult. He is the stepfather of Jack and Lily Sullivan, who went missing from Lansdowne, Nova Scotia nearly 9 months ago. The CBC's Allie Thompson has the story. And there's Daniel. I passed my polygraph. Okay, whatever. Dipshit. All right. Where's Jack and Lily? Where is Jack and Lily? 9 months, boy. Daniel Martel, the stepfather of 2 Nova Scotia children who disappeared nearly 9 months ago, has been charged with sexual assault and forcible confinement. CBC News has learned. Nova Scotia RCMP confirmed that Martel was arrested on Monday and is facing 3 charges involving an adult complainant. Right? Martel is due in Pictou Provincial Court on March 2nd. Ooh, look at that face. I see him confining and raping people. Martel, 34, was living with Jack and Lily Sullivan and their mother at the time of their disappearance from his home in Lansdowne, Nova Scotia last May. Right?
Daniel Martel.
When he walks down the street, he smiles at everyone. He's king of
Okay, that's a Canadian show. I have no idea.
Is facing charges of sexual assault, and forcible confinement. Martel is the stepfather of missing children Lily and Jack Sullivan. RCMP have confirmed they arrested 34-year-old Martel on Monday. Police say the victim is an adult, but are not providing any more details. Martel was living with Lily, Jack, and their mother when the children went missing from his family home in Lansdowne, Nova Scotia last May. The woods surrounding the home was searched for days, and RCMP Major Crimes has been conducting an extensive investigation. But little is known about what happened to the children, and so far, the case has not turned criminal. Earlier this month, RCMP Staff Sergeant Rob McCammon said none of the children's family members are suspects.
I wouldn't say anybody's a suspect. Again, we continue to gather information and whatever evidence that we are able to find, and we'll make our decisions based on that. But we are not in a position to really comment on suspects or anything like that at this time.
Hey guys, I don't know if your lie detector went off, but my lie detector test determined that was a lie. So yeah, they're absolutely suspects. In my opinion, the only reason they're saying that is because, you know, they can't just go on. And yes, Hans, exactly, Hans. You want some sardines? You know, they can't, you know, and honestly, I get what you're saying too, Holly, is that, you know, sometimes they arrest for smaller things, but I think this is something new that's been alleged against Daniel, I think. So I'm wondering if it, you know, if it's something older, then yeah, I think maybe they are doing it just in that strategy. But if it's something new, then I bet you they will definitely use it as leverage, but it's disturbing knowing that he's already being looked at. You know, it really is. It's very disturbing that he's being looked at like this. So.
Curious nature of their disappearance has garnered international media attention. Martel has spoken publicly about what happened that day and the months that have followed. Martel is due in Pictou Provincial Court on March 2nd. Ali Thompson, CBC News, Halifax.
Okay, guys, sorry, I muted. I didn't realize I muted. So I think there was another little clip up here. Let's watch this one too. Might as well, if y'all don't mind.
Daniel Martel.
Oh, maybe it's the same one. King of Kensington.
Martel is facing charges of sexual assault, and forcible confinement. Martel is the stepfather of missing children Lily and Jack Sullivan. RCMP have confirmed they arrested 34-year-old Martel on Monday. Police say the victim is an adult, but are not providing any more details. Martel was living with Lily, Jack, and their mother when the children went missing from his family home in Lansdowne, Nova Scotia last May. The woods surrounding the home was searched for days, and RCMP Major Crimes has been conducting an extensive investigation. But little is known about what happened to the children, and so far, the case has not turned criminal. Earlier this month, RCMP Staff Sergeant Rob McCammon said none of the children's family members are suspects.
I wouldn't say anybody's a suspect. Again, we continue to gather information and whatever evidence that we are able to find.
Okay, guys, so it does appear that that's the same coverage or clip there. Okay, so Lily, here, oh, look how cute. Oh my gosh. Lily is just, she is such a little doll. Oh my gosh. Lily 6 and Jack then 4, right? Because Jack had a birthday, were reported missing on May 2nd, 2025, when their mother called 911. Search and rescue teams spent days combing through the thick woods that surround the rural home in the sparsely populated community of Lansdowne. But the extensive grid search turned up little evidence apart from a pink blanket and a child-sized boot print. One, by the way. We have 2 feet. Since then, authorities have brought in cadaver dogs, conducted 75 interviews and several polygraph examinations, reviewed 1,066 tips and 8,000 video files, and have assigned RCMP units for multiple provinces, or excuse me, from multiple provinces to investigate the case. The children's disappearance has fueled widespread speculation and accusations online amid international media attention. Oh, and there's little Lily with her Barbie dolls and Jack with his balloon. He's just so cute. But RCMP Staff Sergeant Rob McCammon, who we just saw, guys, says earlier this month that none of the children's family members were suspects in the disappearance. I wouldn't say anybody's a suspect. See, this is the thing, though, guys. This statement, forget about it. Forget about it. This is what we need to focus on, the actual statement. I wouldn't say anybody's a suspect. That's the direct quote. Because he can't say that, right? Because he's law enforcement. And so if he says that I suspect the family members, that would be like showing that you have, you know, a royal flush in your hand, right? No, you should never do that. So I think that they are suspects, but they're just saying they're not. The officer in charge of major crime and behavioral sciences, and that's the guy from the RCMP, Sergeant Rob. We continue to gather information, whatever evidence that we are able to find, and we'll make our decisions based on that, right? And again, if we read between the lines, it says they're still investigating, right? And then they need to have evidence, to prove them guilty. And that's what they're going to do to base their decision on. So, in my opinion, they have information. They just don't have Jack and Lily. I just don't see how anybody can hurt them. They're so little bitty, and it's just so sad. And there's no way they would have gotten far if they just went out, off on their own. They just never would, in my opinion. I wouldn't say is a key part. Yeah, I wouldn't say is the key part of the statement. Absolutely. KJ Mack. I mean, that's the part I'm looking at, right? Because even watching him, he wasn't a good liar. Even though he's trying to, answer the question, which I'm always grateful for when law enforcement will do that. And it could be involving Malaya. It really could be. That's why I'm wondering what the charges are, or how, how new they are. So, let's see. These are both 2 hours ago. This is an hour ago. Hold on a second, guys. Boy, yo, capital. Okay, hold on. Hold on a second. Now that we got the chicken commercial, I mean, I look at Daniel Martell and he reminds me of a damn chicken. Only a chicken would do that to women, children. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's so gross. I'm sorry, but he is disgusto. Nasto Cabasto. All right. Oh, this is, I guess, on YouTube.
Breaking news for you now. The stepfather of missing Nova Scotia children, Lily and Jack Sullivan, is now facing charges in an assault case involving an adult. Nova Scotia RCP say Daniel Martel was arrested on Monday. Martel will appear in court again in March. He's the stepfather of 6-year-old Lily and 4-year-old Jack Sullivan, who disappeared from their rural home in Pictou County last May. The siblings are still missing, despite repeated and extensive search efforts.
Heck major. Heck
Whoa,
minor.
I don't know what's going on over
serious
here.
problems
Man
because
boobs.
These things get tight. The
Sorry,
rotator
guys.
cuff muscles are the only muscles.
Man boobies.
What's up, everybody? So Daniel Martel, who is the stepfather of the 2 missing children from Nova Scotia, Lily and Jack Sullivan, is facing charges. Now, these charges have nothing to do with Lily and Jack Sullivan. These charges have to do with another adult. This is from cbc.ca and is linked in the description below. The headline is Stepfather of Missing Nova Scotia Children Facing Charges Involving Adult. Daniel Martel, the stepfather of 2 Nova Scotia children who disappeared nearly 9 months ago, it was May 2025, has been charged with sexual assault, and forcible confinement, CBC has learned. Nova Scotia RCMP confirmed that Daniel Martel was arrested on Monday and is facing 3 charges involving an adult victim. Daniel Martel is due in Pictou Provincial Court on March the 2nd. And he, of course, like I said at the beginning, is the stepfather of Lily and Jack Sullivan, who have been missing since May of 2025. It's now the end of January 2026, and there is no information on where they are or what happened to them. Nothing at all. But this is just the newest development in people in that case, in that situation. Daniel Martel charged with sexual assault, and forcible confinement. This was just posted like 10 minutes ago. So once more news and more information comes out about this situation, I will definitely bring it to you. I hope you're all having a good day, and I will see you again soon.
Cool. Oh, sorry. I don't want to stream somebody else's thing when they're on there. Okay, so that was another YouTuber. Again, guys, clickbaity, right? If it was me, I'd probably put something like, Daniel Martel arrested for SA on an adult instead of putting Jack and Lily in there, because I don't think it's kind of fair for them to have to be put into this lump of shit with this cretin, in my opinion. But that was good. I'm glad people are covering it. Do we have a perp walk? Because it looks like AB has a perp walk, and it appears that Daniel Martel is in handcuffs. So where's that picture? I want to bring it up for you guys. Arrested image. Let's see. Images. Maybe he did an AI or something. I don't know. Because I'm not seeing a picture of him in cuffs. Let me try Google, because I'm on Bing. I forget my computer. I have to get Google on there. So hold on. Let me see. Google. Let's see. Daniel Martel arrest. All right. Oh, it brought me back to Bing. What the fudge? I hate when it does that. All right. Sorry, I have to actually go to Google. Otherwise, it'll bring me back to Bing. So, Daniel Martel again. arrest. I want to see him in those clinkers. I don't see him though. It's just showing him with Jack and Lily, which they shouldn't be doing that if he's arrested for something else. Right? Well, I'll be darned. I don't see I'll say Daniel Martell handcuffed. So maybe it was just a thumbnail that they made. Because I'm not seeing it, guys. Either way, oh, sorry, I didn't realize I left this up here all big like that. Oh, I know. That's true. Honestly, I'm surprised Daniel Martell isn't talking the walls off YouTube about this. He's been very vocal, says Witchy, enough on other cases. Well, and I'm surprised too. I'm very surprised. I don't know if he's got. I don't. You know what, guys? I'm going to say this. I do not know the ins and outs of the Canadian justice system. So I don't know if they are going to, post like a bond for him, or if somebody's going to be able to even bail him out of this mess. I don't know. You're right, Sasha. That's right. God does work in mysterious ways. We said if it's not one way, it's another. We got to get it. Yeah, get it. That's right. That's right. We have to. Okay, so he does the AI stuff. Okay, cool, Sasha. I just wanted to make sure. And that's cool. I mean, I think it's I like to use AI from time to time as well. So yeah, that was a good picture though. I clicked on it and I was like, "Ooh, look at that," So I mean, hey, it got me to click. If the charges are for Malaya, then maybe, just maybe, she's actually did sneak the children off with someone. Yeah, maybe I'm wishful thinking. I know, Nani. I can understand that. And the only thing I can think of is if she has them on the reservation, because I know that was a big thing in the beginning. I don't know if anybody's kind of debunked that or if there's more that's come out that I don't know about. Again, I was really trying to just kind of stay updated on it or share videos on the subject, because I just didn't want what happened with Sebastian's case to happen. And if it did, I didn't want to be part of it. I didn't want to be part of that problem. I'd rather be part of a solution. So hi, Kiki. Good to see you. Thanks for being here. Yeah, I'm so sorry, girl. I couldn't hop up on a panel with you earlier. I know it's just going to be crazy until after, the gathering of voices, but it's a good thing. It'll be a good thing. But yeah, I mean, so that's basically what we know now, guys. I don't see anything new other than that has come out in regards to Daniel Martell and his arrest. So says let's see. Yeah, basically it seems like he's but didn't he have a girlfriend like shortly after Malaya left, and then I don't know, they broke up or something. I have no idea. I guess I didn't stay in touch with Daniel's days of our lives, crap. I heard he's out of jail but cannot confirm. Oh, thanks, Bo. Okay, so he did post some sort of a, whenever people do horrible crimes like that, I don't understand why they even get a chance at, posting. Yeah, it's sad, Kiki. It is a sad situation because we all kind of knew Daniel. There was something off about him from the very beginning. I wonder if Deception Detective has said anything about the subject. I always like his take on things. So let's see here. Deception Detective videos. The last one I watched was Finally Confirms It. Pick an interview. Daniel Martell on Drunk Turkey. Chris Proudfoot versus Private Eyes. Ooh, I'd like to know that one. Nicole Kessinger versus the CBI. That's a good one. Okay, so he had a... Gosh, I want to hear his take on every single one of those. Can I vote for 4 of them? Okay, hold on a second. Let me share this with you. Hold on, Deception Detective's ads are a little longer. Okay. Oh gosh, okay, you can't even skip his ads. Woo. Woo doggy. Okay, here we go. Let me go ahead and share this. All right, this video is called It Finally Confirms It. Let me grab the link for the video so you guys can go over there and check him out. Oh, here we go. I don't know why I'm going down there. I don't have to do that. I'll just do that. And this will be Deception Detective's link if you'd like to go see his full video. There we go. Our resident hottie, Mr. Deception Detective himself. All right, here we go.
When Malaya woke me up, I'm pretty sure it was her who woke.
Sorry, guys.
I woke up when Malaya woke me up. I'm pretty sure it was her who woke me up because we both kind of like woke up at the same time. And I remember her saying, "Yes, it says in the documents." She said, "I don't hear them." But the craziest thing was when I woke up, it was in the first 5 seconds that she said, "I don't hear them." And usually you would have to wait a couple you know what I mean? Or like 30 seconds or something like that, because it could be in the fridge, because that's usually what everything goes quiet when they're, grabbing food.
That's Daniel Martell, and I think he knows what happened to his missing stepchildren. And it's not just because that answer literally made 0 sense. So in today's video, let's watch his interview with the Drunk Turkey Show and count all the lies. I'm Deception Detective, an attorney trained in statement analysis.
Okay, guys, so he's going to count the lies and made absolutely no sense, like many of these interviews don't. So again, you guys can go sub up. He's amazing. If you guys have never seen Deception Detective, it's pretty cute too.
Recognized his stepkids were missing doesn't make any sense. And that's because if Malaya was awake before him, there's no way he could have known how long she'd been listening out for the children. And that's
Whoa. So if Malaya was awake before him, then there's no way that he could have ever known how long she was waiting, listening for the children. Right? Boom. Right there. Lie detected in the first 5 seconds. Not even. Hello, Dr. Pepper Princess. Good to see you. So, wow. Very, very interesting.
Not even close to the biggest problem with this interview. In fact, it's not even the biggest problem with that answer, because in an earlier interview, he said the exact opposite.
He sure did.
Play that clip in a moment, because who woke up first isn't even the only contradiction in that part of the story. So without further ado, let's pick up where we left off.
And isn't that the problem, guys? Isn't that the biggest problem that we see in true crime, is that there's so many issues that it almost becomes overwhelming, and a lot of it can get lost in the mix, right? Because people will go from place to place to place, and then you figure out they're telling lies place to place to place, and that's the biggest problem that I've had in the Devlin Tate case as of lately, with this other creator spreading lies, in my opinion.
She wakes up, you wake up, what's the first thing that you do?
Because look, they're going to go to somebody that they think is going to spread what they want, right? And then sometimes, and Deception Detective makes a great point coming up, that somebody that's interviewing the person is not going to be as keen as somebody else that's on the outside looking in. But again, let's go ahead and listen.
First thing I do when I wake up is, I mean, Malaya's right beside me, and she says, "Do you like hear the kids?" And then I listen for a few seconds. I said, "No, I don't hear them." So first thing I do is when I don't hear them, like I get up and I, get dressed, and me and her make our way out to the kitchen. And this thing I still find odd to this day, I told investigators this, is Malaya didn't look in Jack and Lily's room when we went up, when we walked to the kitchen, right?
Okay.
So I found that odd because we both walked up together up the hallway to the kitchen. And then I poked my head I looked into the living room, didn't see the kids. I ran back to the room, looked underneath their beds and stuff, didn't see them. So then we made our way outside, right? Malaya stood in the kitchen when I was running like a moron through the house looking for the kids. And we made our way outside. We got through the fence, and then we're standing right in front of Mom's RV.
Okay, so that self-deprecation is also something that, could be looked at as, oh, he's being humble and whatnot, but I don't believe that. I believe that he is actually manipulating the audience and trying to be charming, like, oh my gosh, I was just a damn fool looking for these kids, right? Which is an embellishment that I think is a sign of a manipulation used by Mr. Martell, Mr. GQ, Mr. I'm an American Eagle now, even though I was Shaggy Dew before.
And she asked me, should I call 911?
Imagine being able.
Oh, hold on, guys. I always find it odd when people ask about calling 911. If it's an emergency, that's a 10-4, a big 10-4, that's a yes. Right?
Recap. Daniel said that Malaya woke up first, asked him if he hears the kids. He said he doesn't. Then they both went around the house looking for them. Then they both went outside together, and she asked him if she should call 911. In a moment, we'll watch him give a CBC interview where he contradicts all of that. But before we do, I just want to quickly recap my 3 tiers of inconsistencies. The lowest tier is...
Okay, guys, so before we do a recap of that, Anna, that's such a great point. Anna says the thing with the Jack and Lily case that confuses me is if it was Daniel that did something, why have they taken the baby away from Malaya? Or why haven't they taken the baby away from Malaya? If she was innocent, there's no way that would happen. Well, I agree with that. Like if they didn't believe that she was innocent, then they wouldn't allow her to care for the baby. I think they're definitely looking at Mr. Martell, and they have from the very beginning. I'm thinking that's why Malaya felt like it might be a safe time to get the hell away from him. In my opinion, but I do agree it's confusing. It's absolutely confusing, and it makes us wonder what is going on here, and what about this other, little baby. Now they did give Daniel visitation, and I did see that picture, and she's adorable, and but I agree, it's just, and I think the biggest problem is the evidence. They have to have that solid proof and evidence. And obviously they haven't been able to gather enough of that. So tiers of inconsistencies, right? From Deception Detective.
Is subjective, and that's really just an opinion. Like when someone says, well, I wouldn't have done that if I were him, so he must be lying. Frankly, it doesn't tell us much, but it's the one I see most often online. The middle tier is a statistical inconsistency, and that's when someone's alleged actions don't line up with what people typically do in that situation, according to research. It's not ironclad proof that they're lying, but it's at least objective. And then there's the gold standard.
Okay, guys, so, when we look at behaviors and behaviors that have been studied and researched, and that there's, documented research on, that's where we can draw some of the ways that we can identify if someone is being deceptive or not, right? It is about it's all about keeping it in context. And that's a big part of it, but it's also when we see these patterns in true crime.
Internal inconsistency, and that's when a person's own words and actions contradict each other. So it's not a matter of if they're lying, it's a matter of when. All right, now that I explained that, listen to this.
Right. So we know that Daniel's lying, right? It's not a matter of if. It's a matter of when they are lying. And then we have to identify that, because that's going to give us a good indication on when we should have our you know, where our focus should be. In other words, CPS was involved, Sasha, but to the best of my knowledge, they left the baby in the care of Malaya, and then they gave Daniel the visitation. That's the best of my knowledge.
I woke up, Malaya was right beside me. She was still asleep. And they said, I don't hear Lily and Jack.
The time, no one will say for sure, but police say it was around 10 a.m. when they got a 911 call.
I ran up in the woods to the kids. They have cabins up in the woods, which only took me like 30 seconds. I came right back down. She was on the phone with the RCMP.
In this version of events, it's Daniel who woke up first and told Malaya he doesn't hear the kids. And
wow, yep, sure did. And I think we all remember that, don't we? Kimberly, good to see you. You know, we all remember that. Liar, liar, pants on fire. I really wish their pants would be set on fire when they lie so we can know. We just have to use these tactics, I guess.
they didn't search the house together. Instead, he immediately ran outside while she stayed behind, and he came back to find her calling 911. So they weren't outside together where she asked him if she should call. But I'm going to continue playing that clip because in that video I made analyzing that interview, Daniel already contradicted Malaya's version of events. So we don't just have intrapersonal contradictions between Daniel's version of events, we have interpersonal contradictions between Daniel and Malaya.
We got double contradictions. Double contradictions is a big one. And I want you guys to pay attention here very, very closely, because we have seen this in other cases. We've seen this in Devlin Tate's case. We have seen this in Sebastian Rogers' case. Obviously, we're seeing it in Jack and Lily's case. So Devlin, Sebastian, Jack, Lily, right? We're seeing patterns in true crime of these situations where there's contradictions, not just interpersonally, but intrapersonally, right? So that's very important. Hello, Justice Renewed. Good to see you. So contradictions within contradictions. People are contradicting each other, and they're also contradicting themselves.
Listen to this. There are a ton of problems with this story, so let's go through them one by one. First, as I already pointed out, it directly contradicts Malaya's version of events, which is typical of co-conspirators reciting a scripted story. The made-up stuff just doesn't stick as well in the brain as a real memory. Second, it's extremely vague, especially when it comes down to the timing of everything. For instance, he said that Lily came into the room multiple times, and then suddenly he's saying 20 minutes later he woke up. He woke up 20 minutes after what exactly? Third, the story just isn't reasonable, which is one of the criteria from the Assessing Stories card in my deception deck, my 52 favorite rules for spotting lies and manipulation. If his story is true, Malaya called the police before they'd even checked the backyard to see if the kids were out there. Remember, he said that they noticed the kids were being quiet. He immediately went outside for 30 seconds, and when he came back, she was already calling the police. Finally,
right, which one is it? And you know, who's screwing up the script, right? Because you know, there could be a script involved where they scripted what they were going to say, but like Deception Detective points out here, that a true memory is going to be easier to recall than something that has been made up, right? Or a lie.
the tone of the story itself is off, another criteria from my Assessing Stories card. And by that, I mean Daniel's main objective here is to alibi Malaya. He made a point of telling us that he wasn't totally asleep and that she was definitely sleeping next to him when he woke up and she couldn't have crept off. But if his story is true, he can't be 100% sure about that. And what about these contradictions? Is he not concerned that her story doesn't match his? There's obviously plenty more in that video, and I'll link it on the end card if you want to continue comparing that interview to this one. But for now, let's continue with this Drunk Turkey interview because the worst is yet to come.
All right, so this is the part where I think it's very important, and it also rings true in the Devlin Tate case, and just really any case that we are the one that's interviewing right? And then you guys are the ones that are watching the interview. So your perspective is going to be stronger, in my opinion, than mine would be if I say have a panel guest up and I'm trying to ask them questions, because I'm not going to be as keen to assess, right? You know, certain things are going to stand out to me and I'm going to be like, this person's lying to me, right? I'm thinking that in my head. I can't say it. But with you all being outsiders looking in, you're going to have a better understanding of these little key indicators than I would if I'm sitting here trying to conversate and have, you know, build rapport with someone who I think is guilty.
So when you're running around and as you're going outside and you're looking, that gate outside, is it always open? Was it unlocked? Was it locked?
Sometimes it's open.
Was it open that morning?
I do not remember that. I don't remember I don't remember.
What?
Okay. And so you come around.
It's not hard. It's not hard to open up gates anyway. They're just slide. Like, I always forget to close. My mom always reminds me, but they're just a slide and bolt lock, right?
Yeah.
Right, but you have 2 little kids, and so you should have safety mechanisms on those gates. What's wrong with you, Daniel Martel, you cretin?
There's nothing hard about those locks at all.
Well, maybe not,
Right.
but I'm just kind of.
So you probably would want to make sure that the kids couldn't just go in and out all willy-nilly as they please, right, Daniel? Because that's about protecting the kids. Sorry, guys.
Curious because you can unlock it and open it, but if you're on the other side of the fence and you're small, can you reclose it?
Yeah, you can. All you do is just pull the fence close to you and then close it.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And so it may not be a clue there. So you're out there searching in the woods. How long before law enforcement arrived?
I was told 12 minutes.
Okay.
But then when I looked at the documentation and, asked questions and dug further, it was 22 minutes, I do believe.
And were you at the house when they arrived?
I was actually, when they were arriving, I was actually coming back to the house in the car. And I couldn't park in the driveway because RCMP just stopped in the yard, right?
Okay.
Because they were just starting to walk down and talk to Malaya. So what I did is I parked the white Nissan Pathfinder, because that's the car Malaya owns, the 2017 Nissan white Pathfinder. And
wow, way to throw her under the bus.
I parked over on the right-hand side of the marsh, going toward Lansdowne Road. There's a marsh that's right beside the house there. Probably can pull that up on the map. There's a little driveway that's right beside it. It's about 100 feet from the house.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, you guys. I just realized that Drunk Turkey is using the same background as I am. Wow, except for I changed it and I added Sebastian stuff to it. That is so wild. Sorry, I just noticed that. I have to show you guys. So it's the same thing, but I added Sebastian to it. But this is his. So he did an investigation board in his background. See it? It's all the same. Very interesting. Anyway, sorry, I just observed that and they didn't say what conditions. Oh, I'd like to know the conditions, Maybe we'll find out later. Thanks, Bo.
Yeah, that's actually the marsh, and there's a little driveway right on the left-hand side right there. Yep. That's where I parked in white Nissan Pathfinder.
We do the fun stuff. Riverside handles the rest. Smart and nonsense. We shoot every.
One of the best ways to spot a liar is simply to pay attention to when they give rich, detailed responses like what car he drove and exactly where he parked, and when they give vague, reticent responses like what time did Daniel wake up? Did he take his cell phone with him? Who woke up first, him or Malaya? All those things we still don't have a clear answer to, even though they're infinitely more important. And I think the reason those answers are vague and where he parked his car when the police were there is really rich and detailed and certain is because that's the truth and everything else is a lie. Put the vagueness card from my deception deck on your screen if you want to read the full rule, but the gist is liars are vague because they don't want to pin themselves down to facts that can be fact-checked because then they could be exposed as liars. Or alternatively, they couldn't think of all the things that they're being asked about when they made up their lie in the first place.
Boom. Those are 2 great examples. And we've seen Mr. Proudfoot and Katie both, but Mr. Proudfoot more so outwardly, publicly, getting so pissed off because he can't remember his own lies, because Katie's fucking up the story, because he's screwed up the story. I mean, it is amazing to watch them. And those are the 2 big ones, right, that we've seen over and over and over again. I've also seen them between the Tate members and Jessica.
And I think that's exactly what's going on here, which is why Daniel's so sure about where he parked and all these things that happened after the police got there. But whenever he's asked something before the police presence, he's vague or even completely contradictory. Remember, there's a huge difference between telling the truth and telling a lie, which is why liars mess up so much.
Right. Right. That's why liars mess up so much, because there's such a huge difference, right? A memory that happened to you, you can, hear, smell, taste, you're in the moment, right? But then when you're trying to recall a lie that you've told before, there's nothing to it, right? There's no meat and potatoes to it. And so when you're having a true memory and you're recalling an event and being truthful about it, there's no need to try to remember anything, because all of your senses will come swooping back when the memory is true.
Truth is a recollection of something you experienced. So you have touch, taste, sound to rely on. Whereas a lie is simply a recollection.
I'm sorry, guys. I so didn't mean to steal that thunder, but I swear I didn't watch this before or plan that, but thanks, Deception Detective. I appreciate you validating me. Like, sorry, that was, God, how weird.
So you have touch, taste, sound to rely on. Whereas a lie is simply a recollection of an imagined event. If you're not aware, this is my second video analyzing this interview. I'll put part 1 on the end card, but before we get there, I just want to say something important about interviewing liars. Because Drunk Turkey posted a respectful, well-balanced response to that video, but he also said that he believes lots of Daniel's story. Interviewing a liar, which I think Daniel is, actually makes you worse at spotting their lies. It's called the probing heuristic, and it makes sense when you think about it.
Okay, guys, the probing heuristic, good to see you, Brandy, that he's talking about right now. So of course, Drunk Turkey was saying, that Drunk Turkey put a fair and balanced response to the video, right? And Deception Detective is going over that. But when you're interviewing a liar, that's the main issue. And that was the reason why I wanted to show you guys this video, is about interviewing liars. So this is the part that I was really focused on.
The advantages you're getting by interviewing someone, like being able to ask follow-up questions, gauge their responses, influence them, outplay them, go both ways. And a liar wants nothing more than to be believed and liked.
Right. And they're trying to convince the interviewer that they're to be trusted, right? They're trying to convince you that they're being truthful. They're trying to convince you that to trust them, right? They want you to listen to them. They want you to help spread their narrative.
Observers like us, we're not being directly charmed or manipulated by the liar. So with all due respect to Drunk Turkey and all the other YouTubers who are talking to the Martell family, they're not the best judges of their truthfulness.
Boom. That's exactly it. You guys in the chat, and that's why with Devlin Tate's case, I know a lot of you had come in after Jessica had been on the panel, and I knew that you guys were being respectful to me, because I wanted to give her that platform and I wanted to give her that space and voice to talk about her son who is missing. But a lot of you were holding back, and I don't want you to ever do that. I mean, obviously, if somebody's on the panel and they're talking, I don't want you to be disrespectful and, just bash them in the chat, because that's not productive. But I think, emailing me or sending me a message or letting me know, hey, this is what's rubbed me wrong, because I've gotten a lot of that. And I've also gotten that across the board with Sabrina's interviews, with Tammy, with what Matt has said. People, it didn't sit well with them, right? What Jessica was saying wasn't sitting well with you guys. But I was wanting to allow for her, and again, I don't step on other people. I lift them up, right? I try to network and lift others up and not push them down, right? I want people to succeed. I do not like to see failure or a fall from grace. I just don't. And it's important to understand that while I'm doing that, I'm definitely relying on your eyes and ears. And so when Deception Detective said this, it just resonated with me and it stuck with me. And I just wanted to share this with you guys. I'm glad we got on the topic.
We are. And to be clear, this heuristic doesn't just apply to YouTubers. It affects professionals, and it affects you whether or not you're going into it neutral, pro the person you're interviewing, or skeptical. It really.
Right. So again, with Jessica, I was going in neutral. With Sabrina, I was going in skeptical. Right? Because of prior knowledge. And that's another thing that can bias your opinion. When you have, someone who, for instance, spent the reward fund, right? And then the only time I've ever heard her cry was when they were talking about that. Never crying and upset for Devlin. But when it was her butt on the line, that's when she was showing that deep emotion and even to the point of crying. And so again, I was going in skeptical. With Jessica, I was neutral, right? And the reason I was neutral with her was because when she had given me the information about Devlin, I had someone who immediately contacted me who is not in contact with her, who actually doesn't even care for her at all, and was solidifying what she had told me, right? So, and again, that put me at a neutral, but and I will never be confident in other people. I'm always going to be either neutral or skeptical, right? I always try to start out at neutral. Now, when it comes to Seth Rogers, like I said, the experts have weighed in. He's taken a polygraph with an FBI, polygraphist that Nancy Grace had set up, right? So again, and then we saw his time cards, right? So those are three big things. You pass the polygraph from a world-renowned expert. All of the world-renowned experts and well-known experts in behavioral analysis has come back in Seth's favor. And then also we saw his time card. So in my opinion, I do have confidence in Seth that he had nothing to do with his son's disappearance, but I wasn't always there, right? But the more he proved it, it was like, yeah, okay, I see how you had absolutely nothing to do with this, and you're absolutely looking for your son. So again, I have to have it proven to me. I was never really skeptical of Seth, though, because again, knowing that he worked at the jail and his boss coming out and different things like that, it really, it was kind of like, okay, well, yeah, he can show me the time cards, but if he was really gone for 3 hours or 2 hours or any amount of time during the night of Sebastian's disappearance, I would be asking about that unaccounted for time, and I would imagine his boss and everyone close to him would be. So salute, Animal, good to see you. So there's that. But again, I think it's really important when you're interviewing people, especially a liar, to stay neutral. Don't ever go pro liar.
It doesn't matter. We're not even a third of the way through this interview. I'm going to link Drunk Turkey's channel below if you want to watch all of it. And if you want me to do a part 3, let me know by liking, commenting, and sharing. Until next time, stay true.
All right, guys. So that was his take on things. And, I appreciate that. I think Deception Detective is, a stand-up guy. He's very straightforward to the point. I respect that. And I don't think he has any, ill will or intentions. I think he's just absolutely trying to find missing children and call out the liars, call out the BS, help us better detect lies. So he does. He's one of our favorites. We like to, to do that. So, yeah, Daniel does give me the creeps as well. He really does. Oh, yeah, I do, Brandy. And that's the thing I was trying to explain as well with Devlin's case. I want everybody to feel like they had a place to come and speak their experience, their opinions, and anybody that had anything to bring to finding Devlin, who knew him, was, in my opinion, someone that I wanted to talk with. So I have all different perspectives on Devlin's case. And I would encourage anybody that's going to follow Devlin's case, or if you're going to talk on Devlin's case, I would really encourage going and listening to all of, everything, the dispatch audio, the text messages that were shared from his mother, the text messages that were shared from Tamara, Sabrina's interview, the picture that she shared with me that came straight from her phone to my email of Will. I want all of those people to feel like, even though they're going to use it against me later because that's how they are, but I wanted them to feel like they were getting a fair shot to speak their voice, right, and to use their voice. And all of it combined is going to help us find Devlin. Not one person is going to be able to tell us everything on Devlin's case. This isn't linked to the missing children's case, but I feel it's a start in a pattern of behavior. Yeah, absolutely, Tina. Yeah, I don't know. I just wouldn't put it up there like how a lot of people are putting it out there, because I really thought that they arrested him for the kids, and I was like, oh, so yeah, goes back to the old, if you sweeten it with sugar, right? Exactly. And, we do have to, we are able to, we don't have to, but we're able to catch more flies with honey than vinegar, right? So, I mean, you have to build a rapport, on that. So. That's the thing. When I heard Seth call into the atheist channel wanting people to know about his son, that told me who Seth was as a daddy. Well, and I mean, he just wanted it to be out to a, wider audience, Nani. And I did go watch that, and it did break my heart, Hey, Kiki, welcome back. I'm not very informed about Polar, but I don't feel like he's accurate, just my opinions. I believe you could read the BS when you see it, especially if you know it. Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that, Brandy. And that's the thing. Some people are really good at identifying, these things. But I love having Deception Detective because he, like I said, he's very cut and dry. He puts it in terms that everybody can understand. And I think for somebody who is intelligent as him and who has that background, for him to be able to do that, some people that are very smart and knowledgeable about things can be very pompous and arrogant and just, they use these humongous words that nobody understands, right? He puts it into perspective and in a way that everyone can understand it. So you didn't have to go to, law school to understand it. I mean, I bet you he can quote all kinds of, law. And we wouldn't know what the hell he's talking about. He might as well be speaking another language, but the fact that he can come in and do it the way that he does it, and then he'll, add little Latin words like, or phrases, temporal lagune, right? Which is, or lacune, sorry, where there's a lapse in time, right? Temporal, your brain, right, thinking kind of way, right? And there's a lapse. And I think that like those little nuances and new words that he will bring into play, because a lot of us don't speak Latin. I certainly don't, but is fun, right? And just he is a very well-spoken guy when it comes to putting it in terms where people can understand it. And I think that's one of his strongest suits. And then I think it's brilliant to do the deception deck. So it's so annoying. Animal says we live in the early years of this case, though, and at least they know they didn't get away with it on some levels, I suppose. Yeah, I agree with that, Animal. I know. And it does. These people get so cocky, Not None of these are different charges, but the serious charges nonetheless. Yeah, absolutely, Tina. Absolutely. You know, and I mean, who knows? Maybe it will put pressure on Daniel. I mean, either way, he did something horrible. But it, you know, to me, it doesn't have anything to do with Jack and Lily, so they shouldn't be put into his disgustingness. I mean, yeah, I think it's, you know, noteworthy to mention how we know Daniel, but like to be like arrested, Jack and Lily, I don't. Bleh. Sorry. Hello, Jen. Good to see you. I'm doing well, thank you. I hope you are as well. Devlin, which I can't spell, is on my mind too without having all the seats. I smell psychopathy. Sociopathy. I almost said psychopathy. Sociopathy. Right? Yeah, Devlin, and you just add an LIN to his name, but sometimes if you do voice to text, well, I call him Dublin, like Dublin, Ireland. Devlin is just, by all accounts, a very sweet kid, right? There's a small percentage of people that will talk badly upon Devlin, and unfortunately, that percentage of people largely encompasses his family, which is always a big red flag for me because when I look at someone like Peter Hyatt, who talks about the victim blaming and how that's a sign of guilt, it always stops me in my tracks, right? Because I didn't come up with that. That's an expert telling me that, you know? Oh, Brandy says my oldest memory was Adam Walsh, and then of course I lived in Austin, so yogurt shop, which hurry finally we gotta end. Oh, yeah, I know. Poor little Adam Walsh. I'm not a big fan of John Walsh these days, and it's because of the America's Most Wanted video, where they took out the end of the flashlight video and they made it appear that Sebastian was leaving out of his home with the flashlight, and that's not what happened. Somebody definitely went back to the house. A light source went from the house and then back, and they should have showed that, in my opinion. And the fact that they only showed half of it, horrible. Yeah, I'm gonna work on putting together a documentary animal on Devlin, so that way, because I know there's so much misinformation being pushed around, and it's just so sad. Oh, thank you, Trishy. I'm so glad you're back. Thanks for being here. Don't like the mom or boyfriend. No, they're both pretty bad. I know. I wouldn't want to be in cross examination by DD. No, he would be able to tell. I'd be nervous, you know, especially if I was lying. I mean, I guess that maybe I wouldn't be nervous. Maybe I'd be a little bit nervous because I know who he is, but I would be more nervous if I knew I was lying or if I was about to lie to him, you know, because I think he would be able to tell, you know. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the environment is a big one, Animal. The environment is a big one with Devlin. Yeah. And it's sad because they're blaming everything on him, in my opinion, you know. They really are, instead of taking a look, and everybody's pointing the fingers in all different directions. You know, I mean, I don't know. Like I said, I think they were asked about a nickname, but I don't think he has a nickname. I think it's just Devlin, you know. Trishy says, yes, that's a very telling observation. Even speaking ill of a missing child is in any way is a big red flag, right? I agree, Trishy, because usually, like, even when people aren't with us anymore, right? It's not like people go to people's funerals. I mean, unless they're a really horrible person, or somebody's very, very vindictive and evil themselves, will people go to, you know, somebody's funeral and talk ill of that person, right? I mean, it just doesn't happen. It's like, well, you know, this person's going to be missed, and you try to say everything good about that person. And so when there's a situation where there's a missing child, it's absolutely strange when we see the victim shaming, the victim blaming, you know? Yeah, Brandy, I know. I used to just, adore John Walsh, but not after what they did there and the America's Most Wanted. That was the worst. And I used to really like Harris Faulkner, but like none of those people I can really stand. If they're gonna do that to Sebastian, I'm not a fan. Um Animal says they grew up watching the FBI, probably Sig burning on the couch, non-flammable liners now. I don't think that's why mom did it though, and covering for the sister. Yeah. Well, and there's no way that Tamara could have done it in my opinion because she's not in the position to be able to do that, you know. So but I will say there's going to be more of a deep dive into Devlin's biological mom who lives in Arizona. So I'm working on doing that. Again, I was just sidetracked, you know. I was just sidetracked with this other nonsense. And again, like I said, it's one thing to cover a missing child's case. It's another thing to build your YouTube channel on bashing another creator. That's a hate channel. That's a trauma channel. So in my opinion, American Justice is just a trauma channel. I do have a part 2 where she's victim blaming Devlin. I am working on getting that out, but it's just going to be a little bit because I also have to pull in some other interviews to make sure that she can really understand and get the picture, because it's going to be really tough to get her. I mean, the whole live she was like, I don't understand, I don't understand, I don't understand. And I'm like, oh, this is going to be a rough one. So I'm working on that for you guys. And then also the trivia. So I'm going to get together today and talk and make sure the timing's right. So if the timing does change a little bit, and we might move it up a little bit, just depending, but I will make sure that I do that as early as possible, but I'll be working on that as well. And then tonight I will be back, guys, probably around 11:30, 11:45 tonight for the late night show for Night Court, because I need to at least get a little bit more sleep. So, but I had to make sure, like, I moved my time slot a little bit down and kept it this time. So yeah, Kiki, it's absolutely crazy. It's absolutely crazy. Yeah, and then for other people to co-sign on that and to try to help her build her channel, when she's doing that to me, yeah, I got some text messages to make. All right, well, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and hop off here, but like I said, I will be back. I probably won't have any videos out today because I'm just going to work on getting that all the trivia together, but like I said, we will come back and talk tonight. And I mean, that's the plan. Maybe we'll have an update on Jack and Lily's case. Even though it's not Jack and Lily, it's just their, stepdad. I mean, I don't know what adult could be. And I do know that Canada's a little bit more secretive, So we'll see what happens. Thank you, Bo. Hugs to you too. And thank you for the update, I know, Tina. I'm just like, I just need to get everything in before the month is over. And it's just been crazy. And like I said, I really didn't think that I was going to have, I thought Devlin's army was doing good, because the people that I've been working with, like I said, there hasn't been any issues or any problems at all. We've all just worked together, even though some of us disagree on some of the issues. We overlook it and then we keep on theorizing together. That's what adults do. Jen and I talked about, sitting at the big girl table. Those are the people I work with. I don't work with the drama people and people that are, going to do that. So I wasn't expecting that, that was like a big you know, problem that I wasn't expecting. And then, of course, I wasn't expecting to look into Chris and Katie's families as much, but I think it's important to know who we're dealing with. So we're gonna do that a little bit more too. A little bit more into Francis tonight. I might be able to get a short video up, but all right. Aw, thank you, Tina. Love you too. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much. You guys are amazing. And I will see you guys here at 11:30, 11:45 Eastern Standard Time.